beat so real. Someone better get the door. Someone better get the door. Who's gonna get the door?
Psycho killer. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Fa 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 better.
Someone better get the door. Who's gonna get the door?
Run, 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 run away.
One time, I don't know how it happened, but me and this dude just started to like wrestle in his living room, and I picked this dude up and put him on my shoulders, right?
The kid?
No, Josh.
Oh,
I thought the kid.
Nah, dude, I don't just wrestle with strangers' children. But nah, so then his kid got like scared though, because he was probably 3 or 4 or something, and he's like, "What the hell's happening?" So as soon as I put Josh on my shoulders, all I hear is, "No, don't hurt Josh!" And then he runs up to me, and my gut was sticking out from my shirt, and this kid bit the fuck out of my belly button. And I have Josh on my shoulders, bro, so I'm flailing my arms back and forth, and this nigga's holding on. He bit me so hard, bro, that his head's fucking swinging with my gut as I'm trying to swing this nigga off.
damn.
And when I finally put Josh down, bro, I had this big-ass red fucking mark from where this kid left his teeth imprints on my belly, and ever since then, we were best friends.
All right.
Welcome to the Death Taco Podcast. I'm your host, Chris. Today I'm joined by my good friends, Raul the Barber, and our Lord and Savior, Jesus.
What's cracking?
What's up?
What's up, boys? So today we've gathered today to talk about a 2013 horror film called The Green Inferno, directed by Eli Roth. You guys know who Eli Roth is?
I do not.
No, I don't.
I think you probably heard of his movies. He made this movie's part of something called the Traveler's Tour Guide. It includes Cabin Fever, Hostel, and this movie.
Oh, Hostel, yeah.
so
I've
he
seen,
made
I've seen a
Hostel.
couple. I've seen the Hostel series.
And you guys know what like Hostel's known for, correct?
Fucking like.
Because they
I
like
mean,
paid
graphic
it.
as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say for whores and poor villages and shit like that.
I was gonna say because people are paying to kill other people in other countries.
Well, a real hostel is isn't it like a little house that they rent a
Where
room and
bunch of
shit?
people sleep.
Mm-hmm. But traditionally, what it was known for when it came out, it was one of the pioneers of something called torture porn. That and Saw. Like, people think it's purely violence. That's like the public perception of what it is.
Torture porn.
That's what the nickname for these type of movies are, is torture porn, which kind of it fits, to be honest, right? It's just people getting fucked.
Then I guess that's crazy. I did not.
Yeah.
I never heard of that category. To be honest with you.
I mean, I kind of see where I kind of resembles his films. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I never thought it was an actual thing.
But like, so you guys have never heard of this before, correct?
Yeah, no, I never heard it.
Like, not even an inkling. You just seen it
Nah,
on Netflix.
like honestly, I had never heard of it until you told me to look it up or to watch it.
Well, I seen the commercials years ago and never cared for it. I was gonna go see it, but never did. But when you guys brought it, I'm like, oh, this is it.
I thought it was gonna be in another language. I didn't even know it was a universal film. I thought it was some.
And once again, I got to apologize because I didn't tell you guys what it was at all. Correct? Did I say like, oh yeah, don't watch this like around family members or
No,
anything?
right.
Watch this in a closet with lotion.
Yeah.
Dude,
No, it wasn't too bad. I mean, my son's first movie ever was Goodfellas. So he wasn't there to see this movie with me. I feel like I need the time to get out of the room.
oh, like I said, my son had just woke up when I turned this movie on, and I had told him to come lay down with me. So he had watched like the first 45 minutes of it till I realized.
First 45 minutes weren't so bad.
Well, I told you what point he watched it
Yeah.
up to me, and I had to go tell him to get on his iPad because it wasn't kid friendly after that.
I mean, my son plays Call of Duty with me. He be seeing me murk people and do like those finishing moves. So some of those finishing moves got kind of brutal.
So, okay, so if you guys have never heard of this, then you haven't heard of the movie this was inspired off of from the 80s. It was called Cannibal Holocaust, which is a more descriptive name.
Nah, never, man.
I seen part of it.
You've seen part of Cannibal Holocaust?
Yeah. And I thought that was part of the original, not the original films, but they tried to ban that movie along with, what's it called, A Thousand Faces of Death?
I think it's just Faces of Death.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Damn, bro, where y'all be seeing these movies at? Like, what the? I ain't never heard of none of these movies. It
All
sounds
Faces
so, like,
of Death
messed
is,
up,
bro, isn't it just like a bunch of like random actual footage of people dying?
Yeah, people committing like suicide and then,
Public massacres.
What the fuck?
yeah, they banned that movie.
That was from the 90s, so that's before, internet was.
Is
huge.
it like real stuff or is all like
Yeah,
real.
no, it's real.
So
Now
it's
you can
like
just,
footage that people captured? Or
Yeah, like
something?
there's one famous shot of a guy in a courtroom who's like he's testifying for something. I don't know if he's about to go to prison. I can't tell you the story, but just at the end of the clip and on the middle of the stand, pulls a gun out.
yeah.
So is this available? Like, can I get this on like Prime?
pretty-
Yeah, it's out there. You can find it on the internet.
When I saw it when I was in 8th grade, bro. And I can't remember who I borrowed the movie from.
This dude.
And my sister was like fucking 2nd grade. And there was a scene where how the Jewish people will bless their cow meat. So it was pretty much a big ass machine would turn a cow. They will still say a prayer and like slit its throat and let it bleed out. And I'm like, hopefully that doesn't affect my sister. So my sister's like vegan now. Doesn't eat meat.
This
So it
dude
kinda fucked that
scarred her
shit.
for life, bro.
But anyways, so Cannibal Holocaust. What do you remember about it?
Man, to be honest, it was like kind of same version, less thrilling, but it kind of looked like real fucking film.
They tried to make it look like a real news report. Like, I think the vague plot of that movie is some reporter had gone into the jungle somewhere. I can't remember if it's Africa or South America, and he goes missing. And they theorized that a tribe has eaten him. So this other movie, Cannibal Holocaust, starts with another group of reporters or journalists going to go and try to find him and figure out what happened to him. Mm-hmm. And more or less, it's a completely different movie because they fuck around and do some shit to the tribes. And then the tribes do some shit to them. And it's called Cannibal Holocaust, so you can only imagine what the fuck happens.
Right. So they messed with the tribe first,
Yeah, so this is a completely different thing, in my opinion.
but this movie's a remake of that.
No, it's like inspired loosely.
Oh, okay. It's inspired. All right, but that's crazy, I guess. But there's real tribes out there like that.
I can imagine, bro.
There is.
And speaking
Yeah.
of that, you know what I thought of after like I ironically told us to watch this movie is you've been to Africa.
Yeah,
Like, was this a fear like at all while you were over there?
yeah. Because once I got over there, because I went with a group of white people, I was the only Mexican there, and they looked at me like I was part of them. Once I got into this little village, a lot of them was touching my skin, and they're like, "Oh, I like your skin color. I'm like, oh, these motherfuckers about to peel me like a potato."
Damn.
And then I was like, "What about their skin?" They're like, "No, they're too pale." And I was like, "Bitch." So
You thought it was like some like interesting, like, wow, they're a little too interested in my fucking skin right now.
all right. And
pretty crazy.
you ever seen when Karate Kid, the remake, when the kid goes into China and everybody's touching his hair?
Yeah.
It was like that kind of deal. Everybody wanted to touch my skin or touch my hair. So, yeah, that was an idea like, man, I might be fucking killed out here. Because we were going into different areas in Africa. Even Africa's huge. We went into different countries. And we went to a country that they were in actual war. So we went over there to build an orphanage. And it must have been like 200 kids, bro. And all the kids would come up running, getting candy from us because we brought candy. And you could tell, like, from a distance, which kids are fucked up in the head already. Like, completely fucked up. And we're like, well, what happened? Well, because they're in the war. And they're like little villages. A lot of this fucking, like, I want to call them the bad guys, will go into the villages, kill off the parents, just let the kids to die. So they were already fucked up in the head. And we pass a lot of those villages. You see dead bodies on the floor and shit.
Damn.
So you're pretty much one of these like kids in this movie, right? Like you're one of these like activism kids almost.
Kind of, but I feel like, man, I just feel like because
Like you didn't go to save the rainforest. You built an orphanage, and you were never captured by.
Well, no, I think this film's
you
a
playing?
commentary on people that
they do charity shit. Like,
do charity shit, but like I don't know if they're necessarily doing the right things. Like what you did seems like you actually did something.
Yeah.
as opposed to what the niggas in this movie did.
Oh, that's gonna be a part of my negative comments. What I'm about to say later, but
Yeah.
yeah, dude, it's just there's a certain way you're supposed to do stuff, and they obviously didn't fucking do it.
So just to speak broadly, would you say that like an aspect of this movie, like what it's trying to say, is something about activism and like social media and how you want to look like you're doing something as opposed to actually doing something?
Yeah. I mean, you see those people that go around giving fucking food or money to the poor,
Right.
recording themselves. That's what they were trying to do. Like, I ain't get no fucking credit. A lot of people don't even know I even left the country.
Right.
So, I think that's the difference.
All right, but I was telling you guys earlier, to play devil's advocate for both parts, right? I would say that the reasons not to see this movie would be that the plot is kind of really thin. Like, not a lot happens, not a lot of character development and shit. Like, and it's a pretty basic story. It's different to me. When I heard the premise, I was excited. But in terms of actual character development, not a lot happens. And the pros of it would be that some of the fucking effects in this movie are beautiful. And that's something as a horror fan that I'm interested in.
Right.
So
That's
to see
probably
the
what it
gore
was.
aspect and all of the different types of mutilation, the different techniques and
Yeah.
filming they use, man, it's fucking awesome.
And that's what I mean in the sense is it keeps you attached to the movie because especially for somebody like me that has never heard of that movie, like I'm telling you, I never heard of this movie until you told me to watch it. For the year that it was in 2013 and 2014 that it came out, it was pretty good effects too. Like for the stuff that we have now.
Like, you feel like not a lot of it was CGI, except for one really specific thing we'll talk about.
Right. Like they're dead ass in the middle of the jungle somewhere getting attacked by a tribe, bro.
I will say that the tribe was like on point though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were. I was kind of getting like apocalypto kind of vibes throughout the movie.
I thought that's
bro.
what you'd
Yeah.
say. And fun fact, though, about the tribe. You guys said it feels like a real tribe, right? So this dude goes down to... He's actually in Peru. Because the main actress is his wife. It's a Peruvian chick, I think. So he's actually down in Peru looking like for spots to film. And he happens to just bump into an actual fucking tribe down there. Who are these guys in the movie.
So it's an actual
So
tribe.
he sees their huts and shit. And he's like, you know what, guys? That looks perfect. And these native people are cool about it and shit. They're really laid back. They're not cannibals and stuff like in the movie. And so to explain to them, like, hey, we want to use you guys for the movie. He was actual tribesmen. And they don't know what a movie is. Because if you're living out in the middle of the jungle and shit, bro, how do you explain what a movie is to
Right.
a fucking indigenous person?
Right.
So what he does is he brings a movie projector, sets it up out in the middle of the jungle, bro. You know a movie he played for him? Cannibal Holocaust.
Really?
And he showed these motherfuckers Cannibal fucking Holocaust.
That's crazy.
And they thought it was fucking hilarious, according to the article I read.
What?
I would have been scared shitless that I was
Hell
like
yeah,
planting some
dude.
seeds, bro.
That's exactly what just ran through my mind.
But there is tribes like that. There is tribes
Yeah,
that
there
Oh,
is.
yeah, I guarantee that shit's still out there.
I would have been scared. I'm like, man, I just made myself into dinner.
There is articles out there like there's a Christian priest or something like that who tried to go to an island
Like,
to convert them to Christianity or
Christianity.
something
They
like
shot
that.
him with some fucking arrows.
As soon as he got off that plane, they hit his ass up, bro.
But anyway, so now that we've hyped up this movie, now we're going to go ahead and get into the meat of the plot. So if you haven't seen this movie, I recommend, pausing this, going to watch it, and then coming back. Because now we're about to spoil the fuck out of this movie. So the movie starts, right, with one of the indigenous people walking through the jungle. And you kind of see one of these indigenous guys, right? And the first thing I noticed about this dude, not only was he red, he had a really fucked up haircut.
Yeah,
He had a bowl
that
cut,
mushroom
bro.
cut.
To be honest, that haircut's coming back into style. You see a lot of like, why just fucking have that haircut and shit.
Bro, a lot of my
hit me
cousins
up
had that
if you
shit
want
back
it.
in the day.
Raul the barber.
Raul the barber, man, he wouldn't leave you looking like that.
I'll throw you a taper with that mushroom on top, bro. Straight up.
That was something else I looked up, though, because I was like, man, did this tribe have their hair like that? And apparently he did that to them, because they just all had regular, just buzz cuts. They all looked
Right.
like normal hair. They didn't have that fucking, I don't even know how to describe it, just mushroom cut.
Yeah.
You ever wonder how they cut their hair in the jungle like that? You think they make blades out of stone sharp enough to just chop all that shit off?
I'm pretty
Oh
sure.
yeah, dude.
I've always wondered that because those people that live in the jungle, they really be having some. They keep their shit clean, bro.
To an extent. But so this dude's walking through the jungle and he's pushing through brush and stuff and shrub, and he accidentally wanders into, I didn't know what to call it, some type of equipment, for a bucket truck, a forklift.
I feel like he wandered onto like a construction site, an active construction site.
Yeah, so a giant ass construction machine, some type of bucket truck.
Yeah. My son knows what it's called. I don't know what it's called. It's not a bulldozer.
A crane?
They call them bulldozers though in the movie, so we'll just go with bulldozers. So he runs into the bulldozer and then it cuts. It cuts to a protest on a college campus. And then we introduce to the main actress, this chick named Lorenza Izzo.
My girl.
Okay.
So she wakes up from the sounds of the protest and she has a goth roommate. Cute white chick.
Man, she reminds me of a lot of that one fucking singer.
Who, Billie Eilish?
Yep. You got the same one?
Yeah, bro. I mean, she looks kind of like a tweaker, though.
I like those.
You like those.
I love them bitches. I mean, I love all types of bitches.
So then she's just having conversations with her friend, walking around campus, doing random shit. And through the dialogue, it's kind of revealed that the main character has activism aspirations. She like wants to get involved in some type of cause. And her friend just kind of gives her shit about it. Did you catch that? Her friend just kind of says like, that's gay a lot.
Well,
That's retarded.
I'm gonna be say straight up. The friend's smart.
Yeah. Well, not
Because
necessarily. I think she represents us as the audience. Kind of like, you sound kind of goofy right now.
Yeah.
Right. I get what you mean.
I just feel like these overprivileged kids. I think that. Well, before I get to that, because it's gonna spoil. I'm gonna spoil what I'm gonna say ahead.
So the next scene is they're in a college lecture.
Mm-hmm.
You guys remember that part? And they're watching like a documentary on a big screen about some African tribe where they're doing something called female genital mutilation.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm kind of fuzzy on that. That's where they just cut the clit off the chicks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then they bind their legs and let them heal if they survive the infection or whatever they're gonna get.
And they do that so that way women don't find any pleasure in sex, correct?
They consider them to be women after that. Just like how guys, they get their foreskin cut off.
Yeah. It says they don't consider them women unless they've gone through that. It's like a rite of passage.
Yeah, same thing for guys. Like certain tribes and like they'll just go out with the blade, just cut your foreskin right off, bro.
Yup. I've seen it actually done on a National Geographic thing. They were
You've
watching
seen
the
dude
tribe.
get his fucking...
It's a little kid, and it's a group of men, and one has the axe or something like that, and they're holding the little kid. They're holding this thing on like a log or something, and there's like 4 or 5 men, and then they're making a bunch of noise to scream them, like chants and stuff like that, and then they just chop real quick. And I know the little kid feels it, but I don't know why this has always stuck with me. And I swear I always tell everybody this fact, but. Like, he cries and stuff, but he heals completely. They give him, like, goat's milk and stuff like that to heal and stuff like that. And he heals just fine, bro. But that's how they do circumcision. So it's kind of like a ceremony type of deal because it's a lot of people involved.
Yeah.
And they do, like, chants and stuff like that.
Like, I seen one, there's like 7 or 8 dudes lined up. And you see this dude just like, whack, 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 yanking fucking foreskins off it.
I never seen that, bro. I ain't never seen that.
like a fucking assembly line,
Yeah,
dog.
dude,
Of
that's
just
what it
dicks.
was. And I'm like,
Like,
fuck
yeah, Gojos and
that,
shit,
dude.
bro. Just slicing meat off.
Like he's the fucking sushi guy, bro.
Fogo,
Just cutting up meat.
like he's at Fogo de Chao cutting meat off and shit, bro. What's it called?
Like Edward Scissorhands, bro, cutting fucking bushes, dog.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what it was.
That
dude.
FGM, the female genital mutilation thing. I'd never known that tribes did something like that until I watched that. Actually.
Yeah.
Have you seen how they circumcise babies nowadays? They got video on that too, bro.
I don't go looking for those videos. You looked at me weird for looking up death videos. The baby
Nah, bro,
circumcision
not
shit,
at
I
all.
have questions about.
This is shit that randomly pops up on Facebook, bro.
Not on my Facebook.
I haven't either.
Nah, but so this chick's in the middle of this college lecture watching this video, and it's very apparent from the way they shot it that she's very affected by this. Like, she feels very strongly about FGM. And after the class, she runs into this guy. I think his name was Jonah. I'm going to really bullshit the names here because, like I said, the characters are paper thin outside of the main chick.
Yeah.
So a lot of these people are just going to get fucking nicknames. And Jonah's just the chubby black dude.
Yeah, there's Jonah.
It is?
Mm-hmm. the only black dude of the group, bro. Which I hate, cause like I don't want to spoil the movie, but the way they did my boy Jonah, and they made him the only black dude in the movie, bro. How they gonna do him like that?
And
Man?
he was
That's
a
so
nice
fucked up.
one, bro.
Yeah, they made him super nice, and they did him dirty, bro.
So the main character, her name is Justine. She meets Jonah, and he kind of has a pamphlet for this group called ACT, which is the activist group she saw outside of her dorm room. And he kind of entices her to go to one of their meetings. And so the girl doesn't do it at first. First, she goes to her dad, who works for the UN, correct? United Nations.
He's the one on the lawyers.
And she's kind of having a dinner with this dude, and she's trying to, like, talk him into, like, what can you do about FGM? How can you stop it? And he more or less just says, like, we're not allowed to infringe on other countries' beliefs. So after this, Justine finally decides to go to her first ACT meeting, where she's introduced to the leader of ACT, Alejandro, who has the most obnoxious fucking Spanish accent.
That
Yeah,
dude pisses
kind
me
of.
off, bro. Fuck that dude.
Yeah. It doesn't even matter if his accent. He has one of those voices like you just want to punch in the face.
I swear I've seen him on on them Spanish novelas. I swear that my girl be watching. I swear I've seen him on one of those before.
He has a face you want to punch, bro. There's nothing
Straight
about
up.
the dude.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
The voice, the face. He's the total package. And right off the bat, you can tell he's kind of like the antagonist. Or I don't know, I could at least. I could tell, like, oh, this is a shitty guy.
Yeah. Off the bat, I got the same. It's because when she went to her first meeting, and the dude was when she criticized him, and she's like, "Get the fuck out." I would be like, "Fuck you," and just dip.
Yeah, dude takes himself way too seriously. The second she asks a question or cracks a joke, oh, this is too serious for you to even make a joke about. Like, especially how me, you, how all of us are, bro. We're all sarcastic motherfuckers. We're gonna say goofy shit.
Yeah.
And for someone to just take it to the butt like that right away is a complete indicator of that person's personality.
Maybe you might not know it, but you're doing all this for some dick. Like, and that's the vibe I got from everything. Like she
She had a crush on him, right? Like
Yeah,
she's
and
staring
she-
at him and shit from a distance throughout the movie.
And even her, because in the movie, Alejandro has a girlfriend, and even she noticed that he was being stared at by her. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, nah. She did all that for some dick.
So she goes to this first meeting. She sits in on this meeting, and what he's talking about is what the beginning of the film was. He's mentioning in Peru, there's a jungle that's getting deforested. There's a village that's going to be affected. So we need to go over there and do something. And like Jesus said, that's where she, kind of butts in and makes some comment towards him. Like, what are you actually going to do? And he throws her out of the meeting. So she's dipping out, and that guy Jonah chases her, I think, and he kind of tells her, like, hey, just give it a chance. And the next scene right away, there's no real explanation for it, but she's got a change of heart. And she goes back, and she more or less begs this dude to be let into the group.
Yeah. So after that, they had a meeting about taking the trip.
Yeah, that's where they have another meeting, and Alejandro lays out his plan for saving the Peruvian forest. And he says that they plan on going there with cameras to live stream and use their cameras pretty much as shields from whatever private militia is guarding this, like, construction site.
Yeah, their phones are their guns.
Yes.
Nah, fuck that. That would have been another red flag for me. Because now, well, especially nowadays, they don't care if you film it. I mean, I've seen videos online and these dudes in cartel being their heads cut off. And I'm proud of that shit. So that shit would not fly.
I remember my dad went to Colombia like a couple of years ago, and he had his like will and shit made out. So like anytime you're going to those like South American countries, it's kind of a free for all.
No, yeah.
All I want to know is when Junie stopped being a spy kid and turned activist.
He was a spy kid?
Yeah.
He was a spy kid?
Yeah. This dude right here,
Let me see when he was in.
he was a spy kid. You know who I'm talking about, right?
The black dude?
No. I said Junie because his name in Spy Kids is Junie. But I don't
Oh,
know
the
what his
kid
name
from
is.
Spy Kids. Yeah, the stoner.
Yeah, the stoner on
was
this
Junie,
movie,
bro.
Oh, damn, that is him.
He's from Spy Kids.
They did him dirty in the movie, too.
They
this
did.
movie.
I thought he was going to live, bro.
Well, now that guy's not the stoner, bro. He's just fucking Junie.
Yeah.
Junie.
Like I said, I just have nicknames for all these dudes. So, anyways. After he lays out his plans to use the cameras and stuff to defend themselves from the militia in Peru, that's when the part you were talking about where Alejandro's girl runs into her at a meeting and low-key threatens her and throws shade at her. So she's very aware of this girl's crush on her man. And also after this, it all kind of happens pretty fast. When she agrees, you know, to join the group, they start making their way to Peru. And Justine's friend is kind of warning her, like, hey, which once again, the friend represents us, the audience.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing it, and her friend's vocalizing it for us, like, hey, dumbass, you probably shouldn't go with these people you barely know to a foreign country to do some shiesty shit.
I got the same vibe. And then her dad tries to warn her also.
Yeah, that's when like I said, I stopped watching the movie. I was not paying attention to the movie up until the point where her dad they're in that pizza parlor eating, and she's kind of giving her shit about it. And then her dad is on the phone telling her, you know, to call the governor of Peru and stuff like that before she heads out there to let.
And she's kind of like underselling what she's doing. 'Cause
Right.
she makes it sound like they're just going on like a tourist thing.
Yeah, I don't even think she mentions like no activist stuff.
Fuck no, because he wouldn't have let her go.
Yeah.
So she lies to her pops to go. So now they flew, they didn't really explain because they get on a plane to somewhere. So I'm assuming maybe they get to like the capital of Peru or some shit, like where there's actual people.
Yeah, they get into their international airport.
Yeah. And then from there, they go to a smaller private plane. And while Justine is getting on the private plane, she's like walking up the steps. She catches Alejandro with the pilot, kind of like making eyes towards her and
right?
pointing at her ass. I have no idea what the fuck that meant because that never really comes up again.
So that would have been a red flag because first off, they're getting into like a little private plane. Mm-hmm. The dude has, off the bat, the dude looks like he's in some kind of cartel. He has jewelry and everything on.
And he's got the button-down shirt.
Right. So that would have been another red flag.
Hamburger meat.
Yeah. And the way that this dude introduced himself, he has money. He knows people. So that would have been a red flag off the bat for me.
They get on the plane, and Justine's very curious about the guy you're talking about who might be a cartel dude. Mm-hmm. She's questioning, who that guy is. And Jonah's on the plane kind of like, nah, he just really cares about the cause.
Right.
The kindness of his heart. Sunshine and rainbows, because these kids are naive as fuck.
Yeah.
And, they finally land in, whatever specific part of Peru they're trying to get in. And it's, a poverty-stricken area. Mm-hmm. They see, like, a little kid riding on some guy's lap on a motorcycle to show, like, the different culture.
Yeah.
And
I think, isn't it at that part that they gotta, like, rush? They're, like, rushing through everything, right?
Well, no. Before that, they walk up to some, like, motorcycle carts that say, like, Brad Pitt.
Yep.
All, like, Rocky IV, I think. Like, just different American pop culture references. So they get on those. And then they have a dinner. And that's the part where one of the girls is, like, fucking flipping out. She's, like, anxious. She has anxiety.
Yeah.
She's all talking about pills.
Tripping, boy.
They mentioned that the malaria, if they get bitten by mosquitoes, they're talking about all the different hazards they face in this country. And at this dinner is when they get their phones, they're going to be using to live stream, this event they're about to take part in. And at that point, when the guys, finally the kids ask, like, hey, is there a chance we could get shot by the armed militia? And Alejandro kind of calls everybody out. He's like, listen, that's a fucking risk. If you ain't really about it, you can dip.
Yep.
And not a single person walks away from the table.
Hell no.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't be like, man, from that first gathering and you kicked that one bitch out, I would be like, nah, I'm cool. This nigga does not give a shit about it.
You just threw this bitch out real quick, man. I'm good.
I'm cool. Yeah, I would have probably took off, bro. I probably wouldn't have never left the country. I would have sat through the meetings, but don't count me in on that.
And like I was saying, like, there was things that I would have been like, nah, man, something's up. Like, the guy's girlfriend is just so against this fucking main character. And even when they're still in a safe area at Peru, this bitch is acting like a bitch towards her. Toss her fucking shirt right her face at the table. And I want to be like, look, man, I'm supposed to have your fucking back here, and you're supposed to have mine.
Right, like, why would you go somewhere if, like, people actively are, like, acting like they don't want you there?
Right.
But I think that speaks to the personality types. That was something I was just thinking of, like, people who would actually do something like this. Like, do you think you have to have a certain, like, follower mentality to do this? Or do you think there's somebody so persuasive that they could talk you into things?
I feel like it's that second one. Somebody so persuasive. Well, in this sense, I feel like it's kind of I don't even know how to explain it.
Like, were the people gullible, or was Alejandro really, like, that much of a fucking leader?
I think
I feel like
it's
he
50-50.
knew. Yeah, like he
combination.
knew who he was picking out.
Because this is because the scene is taken from a campus, and every person there is been privileged to a whole bunch of shit, never seen the real fucking world, and that's what caused everything. They saw like, oh, but that ain't right. Them getting their shit cut off, so I must do something. No, that's how it's always been.
Right.
So in their head, nothing. They're safe there in the United States, and that's what happened. This dude was just actively like led them on to it. So that's why it's like a 50-50 thing. They don't really know the real world, and this dude does.
I feel like he just took like he kind of took advantage of how gullible they are. I bet he also knew who to pick, especially the main character Justine.
Yeah,
'Cause
she
of
really
who
just
daughter-
wanted to belong, apparently.
Yeah. Also that like she wanted to belong, and I feel like he kicked her out on purpose so she can come back and have a reason to like want to be a part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something I forgot to mention. Do you guys think her like feelings towards FGM was legit, or did she just kind of pull that out of her ass?
Nah, she just pulled out that shit out of her ass.
Because remember, he's asking her. He's like, "What's your cause? What do you really want to? What do you want to change?"
Yeah. Like,
And she kind of like pauses for a second and goes, "Women's rights in Africa."
yeah, no, she put that shit out of her ass. She just saw that fucking clip the day before.
Right? How do you feel that strongly about it?
Like, because he was like, what keeps you up at night? I sleep like a baby. Like,
Right.
I guarantee you that bitch slept fucking fine the night before, too.
You know what keeps me up at night? The fact that the McDouble is $1.49.
If you buy a second one, it's $1.
No shit.
Yeah. We're fat.
But then after this scene, right after he checks everybody at dinner, that's when they have the scene you were talking about on a beach when they're trying to get to the boats. And I thought this was a really weird fucking scene because it seems like the music's playing, the camera's really shaky, they're cutting in between guys, the actors look really nervous, like if they're running from something or
Right.
hiding. But they're
like
not
rushing to get them to the rushing to get them to the plane
no to the boats.
to the boat. My bad. Before they get caught or
Well,
something.
I don't know if you guys understood what the dudes were saying to her. Like,
No.
Shirley, they were catcalling them.
Oh, they're like whistling and shit.
Yeah. So they were saying how cute they were and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to be honest, no bitch wants to be called out like that unless you're a hoe and you're just used to that shit.
Yeah, but even the guys look nervous.
And they probably thought they were being catcalled too. But who knows, man? That's Peru. Everything could go.
I don't know, man. I felt like everybody was just shaking up because they were in culture shock.
I guess, yeah, culture shock. And another thing is, like, maybe they got fucking scared because these dudes were just right in front of them and they won't look like they ain't gonna fucking move for them.
Maybe. I just feel like that's a scene that didn't need to be there. Like, if they had just been on the boats in the next shot, would we have missed anything?
Nah. It's kind of like if the people, like if they were trying to get through a maze and the other people were the maze, because like they were just walking past, like if they don't even see the the activists. I don't know, bro. It's just I guess it was just a waste of a scene. They probably just threw that in.
That
there
and I don't know. I feel like it was just a filler.
So after this, they get on jinky boats. Like two, I can't describe the boats. Just jinky boats. They look questionable.
like homemade.
Yeah.
They were. I've seen some boats like that before on that Rocky movie. Not Rocky. It's not Rocky. Rambo.
Rainbow.
Yeah.
And the same style. It's like they're cheap.
Where he's
Probably
like in
man-made
Thailand or
boats
something like that.
with a little motor on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so on this boat ride, Justine learns about a GPS that uses satellite to track their location, something they talk about in random dialogue, which is foreshadowing for something later on. Obviously, they're going to need it.
Right.
And at some point on this boat ride, they decide they got to take a pit stop. Justine and Junie. It's Junie, right?
Yeah, to go use the restroom.
So the stoner kid, they both have to use the restroom. So they're asking, is there a porta potty or some type of facility?
Next Pueblo. That's what he asked. If there's another city coming soon.
And the dude looks confused as shit. Like, bro, we're in the middle of the fucking jungle, bro. I'm surprised they didn't just make him fucking deuce over the fucking boat.
Right.
But anyway, so the guy agrees to park the boat. And he pulls out a machete. And the chick takes it, Justine. And then the guy's like, well, do you have another machete? And he doesn't.
So he gives
Busts
him
out
his
a
pistol.
gives him a pistol. And then this is the first part of the movie where it starts to get a little bit extra, more than the
Right.
average movie, correct?
Right.
Because this is the part where
Like,
the guy goes to go piss behind a branch, and we see about an inch of this dude's cock. We
Yeah.
see the base of his dick completely in the shot with his whole pubic
Well,
area.
Before that,
I mean, if that's what you saw, bro, I saw a tarantula.
nah, I saw a half-inch cock.
Just-
Well, before that, you know how that chick was taking a piss and he stood right next to her. Why was that bitch standing? You thought about that? That bitch wasn't squatting. That bitch
I
was
thought
standing.
She was holding on to two branches, right? Kind of
Nah,
like
bro,
she didn't want
I
to
didn't
sit.
see no hands up. I swear to God, I pulled that up right now.
Nah, I think she was in between two branches, like holding on.
Nah, she looked like she was holding a fucking.
Yeah,
cock.
I did see. I questioned that at first when I saw it. I was like, why is she standing? But then it just went through my mind.
And I'm gonna
like
be
nothing.
real, bro. I'm gonna be like, we're not separating, dog. We're in the middle of the jungle. I'm gonna hold your fucking hand while I piss. Fuck this.
Yeah,
I'd be scared as hell, dog. I get nervous going to the woods here, and we don't have shit.
dude. And the thing is, the guy driving the boat just hand me a gun, just in case shit happens. Yeah, I'm gonna be right next to you in case a fucking, I don't know, fucking lion drags me. There ain't no lions in the Amazon, but a fucking animal just kills me and drags my body away. At least you know where the fuck happened to me.
Yeah, dude. Like, I'm not getting too far from that boat. I might literally step 1 foot off the boat and hold on to it while I shit.
I've seen it was a camping ad, and it looked like a funnel for women to piss in. Mm-hmm. It's like they put it right against her pussy, and it's like a funnel, and it leads it right out. So that's why I was thinking that she had, but I don't know. That
Nah.
movie's kind of old compared to when that shit came out.
I don't think you could hide that funnel anywhere. We just saw it.
Dude.
Nah, so we're staring at this dude's dick base. And like Raul says, then he only saw the spider.
Nah, I was like, that's the first thing I noticed. No homo, but
Because it's not traditional, bro. They don't show
Yeah.
dudes' wieners in movies traditionally.
as soon as I saw that, I'm like, I better see some vagina or tits in this movie. Nah, I'm gonna be disappointed.
So the spider's crawling towards him slowly, and then Justine gets back to the boat. And of course, we hear the gun go off like 5 times. Pop, pop, pop. And then the guy's running back, and it's supposed to be a comedic moment, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
And so after that, the boat's still going, and now we see a jaguar on the side of a rock. And that's the part where I'm talking about the very few moments where this movie uses CG.
Oh, that wasn't real?
I guarantee it wasn't real. Or
I
maybe
feel
it
like-
was, but I feel like it wasn't.
I didn't look bad to me. I felt like that's kind of where it kind of got like apocalypto.
Like, it
style
wasn't
to me.
bad. Like, I wasn't saying it was bad CG, but I could tell like it was, personally.
I thought it was real.
It looked cool. At
Yeah.
first, like the first shot of it, I didn't know what they were looking at. I thought I just saw some rocks, and so when he spoke about jaguars, I was like, "Oh, the rocks must be in the shape of a jaguar."
See, that's what I thought too.
And so then they shot that second shot, and then I saw the jaguar. I was like, "Okay, that's what it is."
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of gave off those like apocalypto vibes because he like spoke about the omen and like
Yeah.
what it meant.
I remember you saying you liked Apocalypto a lot, so when we did this movie, I kind of was like, man, Raul's going to really like this one, I think.
Yeah.
But something the guy who's driving the boat says when they see the jaguars, he calls it he's like, the locals call it protector of the jungle. Some say that it carries sinners to hell.
To hell, yeah.
Thought that was deep as fuck.
Yeah, I like that, bro. But then the dude on the hunter said it was a good omen.
Yeah,
so
but
I kinda,
not for them though.
It kind of gave me like hope, but
Well, I mean, that's foreshadowing also for, what happens towards the end when she bumps into it again.
yeah.
But anyway, so after this, a group arrives to whatever location they're supposed to be at. And when they get out of the boat, they start to put on university shirts. They put on those yellow jumpsuits to blend in with the construction guys. And after that, Alejandro hands out face masks. And my girl said they look like the Jabberwocky masks.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Like the dance group.
Yeah,
The
I thought
pale
it was
white
gonna
masks.
be like the anonymous mask, but it did
Yeah.
look like the Jabberwockies.
Did that movie come out before or after this one?
I think Anonymous came out way before.
Anonymous has been out since
No, not Anonymous. I'm thinking about that British movie.
Vendetta. It's not even Vendetta.
V for
It came out-
Vendetta.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out way before.
I think so. Because that's been around since like George Bush time, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think that was like double. I don't even think we were in the double digit years yet. I think that came out like in 0 something.
Bro, that's still a good
right.
movie.
So the group puts on their jumpsuits, their face masks, and they hand out chains and locks. In this part, I didn't notice that they gave Justine a very specific lock.
Yeah.
And then everybody starts chaining themselves to equipment, to trees, everything around the construction site.
Right.
And I didn't notice that they had fucking explosives.
No, I didn't notice that either.
Is that I know they had those big tube things, but I didn't know what they were.
No, well, the tube things weren't explosives. They chained the tube and it said, save the rainforest in those tubes.
Oh, then what the fuck were the explosives? I didn't see him do anything with that.
Explosives. Nah, that's kind of. I was like, where the hell did those come from?
I feel like that was because they explained a little bit towards the middle of the movie what was the deal with that. But nah, I didn't see no explosions in the beginning. And that I was like, damn, these motherfuckers are fucking active.
Well,
They're acting.
Before the explosives, I forgot to mention also, like we alluded to earlier, Justine was given a faulty lock. The lock doesn't even work. Come. So then the group starts to chant something. What the fuck did they chant?
I
Was
can't
it
remember.
Spanish?
Nah, it wasn't Spanish. It was English.
I don't remember what the fuck they were chanting.
Something about stop deforestation, I think.
Yeah. I just can't remember what the fuck they were saying.
So they're doing some kind of chant as the workers approach and as the private military group starts to approach.
Dude, and that wasn't like just like 10 of them. It was like a good 30, 40 dudes with guns coming out.
Yeah, guys in like full body armor suits, big ass fucking rifles. And they're kind of walking up, tugging at everybody's chain to see if they're fastened in for real. Which is convenient, that's what they're checking. If I saw them doing that, bro, I'd have turned like the lock around and just like put it in my asshole. Like they'd tug on it and I'd be like, ooh. Ew.
So they go through everybody.
And they get to Justine, and hers is clearly not done. So they take her off the tree, throw her on the ground, gun at her head. She's flipping the fuck out. And she's looking at Alejandro, right? Mm-hmm. And Alejandro kind of yells out. Doesn't he say, go ahead and kill her? And that's when he goes, her dad works for the UN. Because they have their cameras out and they're filming these dudes.
Well, he didn't... Well, that's what he said afterwards. But have you noticed that girlfriend?
Oh, his girl said it first. Because Justine looks at her and goes, you bitch.
Yeah. So I feel like she knew that everything from the beginning with her dude. And I was like, damn. Well, side note. This is what I was going to say. Like, these dudes weren't hired to kill anybody that went to the fucking jungle to protect the construction. These dudes were hired to protect themselves from the tribes. Mm-hmm. And when I went to Africa to do that charity, we went. Wasn't like fucking. They had light and everything, but it wasn't like we did research before we went over there. We knew what the fuck we were getting into, or who was hired to protect us in this certain country. Like these motherfuckers didn't do nothing. All they say is like we're buying a ticket, flying over there, and be heroes. And that's something that like, drew red flags. That's how you know these dudes are privileged and think they're gonna be safe. Mm-hmm. Like that's something I didn't like about the movie. They just did whatever the fuck they want to.
Yeah. And
in real life, unless you're fucking stupid and naive, that would never flow.
Well, I mean, like, if you think about it, you went like a big corporation, or as part of a corporation, correct? These kids kind of just went on themselves.
Right, but even then, like, the whole thing was sponsored by a random dude.
Janky as fuck. That's like if you get a job ad, bro, for some random guy who's like, I'm going to pay you $10,000 to come over and, air quotes, clean my car.
Yeah. Low-key, I kind of felt like that dude was kind of like worked with the tribe and like he had brought them to feed them to the tribe type of deal.
I don't think
you know
so.
what I mean? Whoa. Like that's kind of like what I thought it was going to be.
We're skipping a little bit. Yeah, I did too. There was a spot in my head like, man, this dude must have been part of the tribe at one point. But we're getting ahead.
Yeah, because this is the part you were talking about where she has the realization at this moment that the only reason she was allowed to come on this trip was because her dad works for the UN. And they were using her from the get-go. And she's barely established this. Which, to be honest with you, it took me a second to catch that also. So that was like the one twist in the movie I didn't really see coming.
I just realized now, this dude knew who the fuck she was from the very beginning. Because
that's what I'm saying. Like,
because like if you guys remember, no, she didn't know none of these dudes. All she did was stare at this dude from a distance, went to a class, and a random ass dude came up and was like, hey, here's a flyer coming to a meeting. So they already knew her from the beginning of who she was. So all that shit was playing out. And this dude knew.
We find out that dude the guy who met her at the meeting, Jonah, the big black dude, he had a crush on her. Mm-hmm. So I think that was chemical, that was natural when he invited her to the group. at first.
Yeah, but
But when she shows up and Alejandro
they'll-
finds out who she is, then I think that's when that whole thing unfolded.
no, like right when you're talking about when she got invited, she's like, "Well, the leader of the group was the one who told me to bring this flyer."
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
No
I remember there was
shit.
a scene where he's talking to the dean of the students, trying to get assurance for the janitor, and stares right at her. So he knew who she was.
So it was actually like subtly like implied that like he figured all this shit out.
Yeah.
Wow. That's deep, man. I didn't catch any of that.
So I'm like,
Yeah, me neither. I was not watching the movie at that time.
I just saw the movie an hour ago.
Right. So Justine's on the ground, gun pointed at her head, and they're saying that her dad works for the UN. So the guy pointing the gun at her head gets a phone call from his higher up or whoever hires them, because they're being live streamed and it's on the internet. So at this point, they stop everything. The guys put their guns down. The kids get taken in some car that says police. So the law enforcement of the area, maybe the militia, they take them back to the private plane.
Right. And that's when the cops were bought out. That dude that was saying that he kind of looks like he's part of the cartel pays him a wad of cash to get all their
And he
passports.
hands them a bunch of passports, correct?
Right, all their passports.
So they all get on the plane, and now this group act. They're celebrating. Beers are fucking going around. Everybody's happy as fuck, except for Justine.
Yeah, because she almost died.
Yeah, and she realizes that she was used.
And my boy Jonah, he tries to make a move on the plane. She tells him to fuck off.
Like, literally, fuck off.
Literally.
And I'm like,
he
man,
on
my boy
heartbreak.
didn't even know.
And even Alejandro tries to make peace on the plane, but she's still not going for it. So she's finally wisened up to these dudes' game.
And then
And then the fucking engine starts to smoke.
It
No,
like
it blew.
explodes or something.
Yeah, but before that, she's talking to Jonah, and Jonah tells her, hey, look at that forest. Look what we just did. Ironic as fuck, considering.
before all that, the first time they got onto that plane, that bitch that was kind of freaking out. Mm-hmm. She's like, "Oh, I'm so scared of these little tiny planes when they always crash."
They
so that
crash
was
a lot
already
or
preceding
something
that
like
it was
yeah.
going to be a plane accident or something.
Yeah, oh yeah, she says, I'm always nervous on planes because I think they're going to crash.
Yeah.
So there's more foreshadowing. And then like we said, inevitably, one of the engines start to explode while going over the jungle. So the engine explodes, and then the plane starts to nosedive and spin. And while it's spinning, Jonah starts to vomit. The plane's fucking going in
didn't see that
circles,
part.
I didn't-
and
he
this
covered his
dude's
own
puking,
face.
bro, and vomit's going all over his face and all over the inside of the plane as they're crashing. And then of course they crash, and we see fucking the back of the plane like splits in half, so people start to fly out the back of the plane.
Yeah.
Then the actual plane hits the trees, branches start to impale people on the plane. The pilots, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, like right when the fucking plane's about to stop, a branch goes to run the fucking
The
pilot's
pilot,
face.
yeah.
He ate that shit like 2 Big Macs for sacks. Like, yeah, so.
And at that moment,
both pilots died, right?
yeah, and that's the first time that we see the graphicness of this movie.
All right.
So
That's
did that
when-
catch you off guard?
That's when I told my son he had to watch his iPad. I was like, yeah, this is not for kids. Bro.
Nah, as soon as that shit happened, I saw like his face got ripped off. I was like, all right, now it's gonna start getting interesting. Mm-hmm. So the plane crashes, and it's something that I didn't like about. I don't know if you guys ever been in a car accident, like a serious car accident.
The part where he vomits.
Yeah, bro, that's so.
Raul was watching the movie as we're talking about it. All right, but you're saying car
So-
crashes.
Yeah. Have you guys ever been in a serious car accident?
Yes.
You're like in a stun mode. You're like you can't move. And after that plane accident, which is much worse than a car accident, in my opinion, that dude's girlfriend, which is what was his name, Raphael, the dude that hate his fucking voice and you just want to punch his face.
Alejandro?
Alejandro's girlfriend's stuck. I can't get him buckled. So this dude just jumps out of the airplane, goes around the airplane like nothing happened. I fucking tripped over a rock and I fucking felt that shit for a week. Like, this motherfucker just went around like it was nothing. And yeah, everybody's like on stun mode. Like, they're in shock mode.
There's one dude, bro, who's walking around and he accidentally walks into the fucking propeller.
The propeller, bro, that fucked me up.
It just
so-
knocks him in his head
With
and
his
he
dumb
dies
ass.
just for being stupid.
Well, the thing is, they're in a state
Oh,
of
hold
shock.
on.
Yeah, so that's to go with what you're saying. People are in shock, and that guy just died like that. And they're all kind of wandering away,
Got
and then
them
when
off
they're away
away.
from the plane, it explodes. And do you remember, like, one of the chicks was still in her fucking seat, and her
Oh,
chair
yeah.
flies like 20 feet away from him and just lands. You just hear, ah.
Yeah, so yeah, and you see that cartel guy body like just on the floor next to her.
Impaled. He got hit by that branch.
And then, like you said, Alejandro's girl's kind of walking out into the forest a little bit, and she says she hears people coming.
Yeah.
Do we actually see the tribesmen at that point?
Yeah,
Well,
And she sees them in the distance, and she's like, hey, I think they're going to help us.
right.
And that bitch gets a fucking spear in the throat.
a spear or arrow.
That's the arrow.
But that bitch was like falls to the ground, and then everybody's like being darted and shit,
Then everybody gets fucking poison darted.
except her. Alejandro's like trying to like,
He's trying to console his girl, you know, he's kind of like, it'll be all right. And she gets a fucking another arrow right in
Right in
the
the
mouth.
forehead.
Right in between the eyes, bro. And he's like, no. Like something's like that's supposed to bring her back to life or something, dude.
I'm gonna be honest. If I was in the middle of the rainforest and I got speared right in the neck, I'm like, I ain't no hope.
No, these dudes are killing us with sticks.
Yeah,
That
but
scene was really cool, though.
it was pretty tight.
It was a dope intro, like a nice change up, because everything before this, we've been talking about like 30 minutes worth of a movie. It was all build up to this. It was all prologue. It was all just introducing us to characters and shit. Do you feel like it was too long?
The intro like that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I
Like
mean,
maybe I guess some of the parts of where they're going to Peru and they're kind of like BSing around and stuff.
I think that BS is like
Or when she's walking around before in the campus. What part is too much, do you think?
the whole introduction that they're about to head out.
I
Yeah.
was not paying attention to the whole introduction. At
See,
all.
and
That's what I'm
where-
saying. Like, it wasn't necessary.
Like I'm telling you, I didn't start paying attention to. She was arguing with her dad about going down there.
And I
on
can
the
understand
phone.
that the whole point of that is to let her know that like, hey, there's gonna be red flags. What the fuck are you going down there for?
So I guess, like, it's not awful. Like, it wasn't terrible, but it definitely felt like it was a little bit too long. I
Yeah.
can't pin
Like it
where.
takes too long to get to the point.
Yeah. So everybody in the group gets neck darted, bro. And the next scene is Justine waking up on her back in a boat. And she's staring at one of the native guys. But this guy's different. He's not red with the bowl cut. This guy,
He's
his
painted-
entire body is painted black. Except for his face, which I'm colorblind, so I'm going to fuck this up. Was it orange?
is yellow.
Yellow face. And he's got like a giant bone through his nose.
Yup.
And he looks like the devil. He's like the one like visually intimidating person. The rest of them look pretty goofy in my opinion.
So he's supposed to represent the head of the warriors. Mm-hmm. Because if you remember, these guys just said the damn name. The Aztec movie of it.
Apocalypto.
Yeah, the head of the warrior also had a bone thing.
Yeah.
So that's what made him stand out. I can't remember if he knocks her the fuck out back in the boat or redarts her.
I'm not sure because all I got here is that I think when she wakes up, they dock on land. And
Yeah,
that's
that's-
when the whole tribe comes out of their little village. And there's like hundreds of them.
And they're all they're like just touching them and like seeing what they got.
And we see here that they all, in fact, have terrible haircuts.
They all got that mushroom shit.
Every single one of them. And then that's when they start like kind
Except
of
for the
parading.
bald dude, bro. Like I'm telling you, how do they do this?
I'm telling you, like, they get a really sharp rock and just scrape it against her skin.
So the group gets like pushed on shore and they start walking through the village as they're ganged up on by the entire tribesmen.
They just aren't here.
And they're all just touching them and stuff. And are they painted red? Because like I said, I'm bad with colors.
Nah, they're not getting painted red.
Nah, but
No, the
that-
people, the actual tribe.
Oh yeah,
guys.
all
Oh,
the
yeah,
trap
they're
people
red.
are. And then they got like skulls. They're seeing like skulls that are stuck on top of
Yeah,
like,
like bodies
spears and
of this-
shit.
They're
Yeah.
seeing corpses that are impaled with different limbs and stuff.
Right.
And they end up, this walk that they're on, while they're getting touched, they're getting their hair felt. And that's something you said you've experienced in Africa, correct?
Yeah, but not like that.
Not to that extent.
Fuck. No, that was like... Those motherfuckers just saw a buffet go up to them. No, these dudes were like... Was asking me if they could touch my skin.
No, so it wasn't like aggressive.
No, little kids, but I can understand kids. But the adults, when they were like, "Oh, I like your skin color," and I'm like,
You're like,
"Dude, I was when
In
I was
what
over
way?
there, when I was over there, I got asked to get married like 4 or 5 times by bitches over there."
damn.
I was like, "Can you clean or cook?"
You gonna have to edit that part out, bro.
Nah, so they get led through the village, and it all climaxes in when an old woman comes out of one of the huts. Some yellow lady with long ass hair.
Kind of looks like the village witch doctor.
I feel like she's the head of, like,
The
she's in
village?
charge of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like the.
She's like the book definition of what a crone or a haggard woman would look like, what an old school witch would look like.
Right.
Exactly. And she has like a long bone on her finger, some type of claw.
Yeah.
yeah.
She has one claw on her hand, and it's on like her finger, and it's about the size of her hand. And she has a staff. Am I making up the staff? I think she had a staff.
Nah, she got a staff,
Yeah,
bro.
she was old. She needed that staff to get around.
She had one eye.
Yeah, one eye was like pure white, like the pupil was, so you could tell she was kind of blind from that eyeball.
Yeah, so they got the whole like group lined up, and the old woman, this yellow woman, she walks up and kind of touches them all one at a time.
She's inspecting them and shit.
Yeah, and she gets to Justine, and she kind of smiles at her.
Shit, I would too.
And after that, she says something, and she motions away, and they all get put into a pig pen.
The
Right.
pig cage.
It's some wooden cage, and there's a whole bunch of little pigs inside of it.
I didn't see no little pigs, but
There was hella
Yeah.
pigs.
Like they open the doors and they're like pushing the pigs out so they could get in there.
So the group gets settled in this enclosure, and then they realize, holy fuck, Jonah's still outside of the enclosure. And
Right.
Jonah looks like he's fucked up.
Bro.
Like maybe his poison was a little extra strong or some shit.
Right.
But he looked lost. He wasn't all there, bro.
No, he thought he was safe.
Yeah,
No, but at
and
first,
that's
bro-
what made me mad, bro.
He looked like he was fucking like he took a hard ass wax hit, bro, and he
Right.
was just fucking out of it. And then they start to give him something to drink or something, right?
Yeah, they give him like something. It looked like they gave him like bloody water with celery in it.
Something, because they start to kind of like
He's
motion
like, "Oh,
him.
thank you."
They motion
With
him
his
over to a
dumb ass.
rock to sit down, and he
Yeah.
gets this drink.
And those
then-
old ladies taking him, so that made me
Yeah.
think that he was safe.
Right. So naive, bro.
And then he lays down flat on his back on this big ass rock.
Fucking dumbass.
And then all of the fucking not a bunch of them, but
All
like
the men,
10 tribesmen
like a
come
couple
up to
men,
him
yeah.
and they grab each one of his limbs, correct?
To hold
Right.
him down, yes, sir.
And then the old yellow woman approaches and she's kind of standing over him. And at this point, Jonah's finally panicking a little bit.
They see what the fuck going on.
And the old yellow woman stands over him and she takes her fucking claw finger and she takes out the fucker's eye while he's alive, fully conscious. She holds it, shows it to everybody, eats it.
Medium rare, boy.
Nah, bitch was raw.
Now we're just gonna
Oh,
machine
seasoning.
gun through this really quick. Takes out his fucking other eye, eats it. Then the fucking dude that's painted black comes along with the fucking
no, before that,
Uh-huh.
she cuts out her tongue and eats a tongue.
she takes out his other eye and then she takes his fucking tongue out
and eats
and
that
uses
shit,
the
bro.
claw on her finger to saw his fucking tongue off. So my god Jonah is laying on this rock with no eyes and no tongue, blind,
Trying to
and he can't
scream.
really speak, choking on his own fucking blood. And then the guy that's painted in black with the yellow face comes along with the dullest fucking axe you could ever imagine. And he hacks off his arm, correct?
Yeah.
So he probably breaks the arm first as he's swinging, swings a couple more times, and then tears off this dude's arm before proceeding to take his legs. They cut his fucking midsection off? Because he's just a torso at one point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they take the legs. I'm watching him right now. They take the legs,
His other arm.
arms.
And now Jonah's still screaming.
And then
He's
it's his
alive and
head.
fully conscious for all this.
Yeah.
Which that was something most people would have bled out by now and died.
He'd
Or-
have passed out from the pain.
Yeah, or going to state of shock or something.
So,
Well, before that also, I don't know if you guys ever had cow tongue, like at Mexican restaurants and stuff.
Lengua?
Yeah, that's cooked. This bitch ate this tongue like it was nothing.
That's kind of what I was like, damn, bro. She
I'm
chewed
like-
that pretty easily.
Yeah,
man.
I'm like,
I know that had to be kind of tough.
because
And then they get. Well, they cut the dude's head off after they cut off his limbs.
That's the last thing they do is they cut his head off. And the group is watching this. They're doing all of this in eyesight of, the
of the
act
whole
group.
village. It was like in front of everybody.
Specifically his own friends. And after they cut his head off, the witch lady takes like this little bowl and puts it where his head was, where the blood is squirting out. She fills the bowl up with his blood shooting out from where his neck should be, and just takes a big ass swig of fucking Jonah blood.
Like his Hennessy and shit.
And at this point, Justine makes eye contact with one of like the little village kids. I thought it was a girl, but apparently it was a little boy. Who we come to find out it's a little boy.
Yeah.
It's a little boy?
Yeah. That
I
first.
never knew that. I thought it was a girl the whole movie.
So, okay, now that we shot through that, what did you guys think when you saw that scene?
Man, I'll be honest, because I already knew that tribes are like that. I was like, I like the gory part, but I just knew it was going to be something like that. So it wasn't a surprise, but...
Did you think it looked good? Was it well done?
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
It all looked pretty fucking realistic
Yeah.
to me, bro.
Everything looked real except the whole tongue thing. When she eats the tongue, I'm like, that shit must be chewy. This bitch ate that shit like it's nothing.
Swallow that bitch.
Yeah, it was cool, man. It was kind of predictable, though, that they took the big guy first.
Nah, I didn't see that coming.
You thought Jonah was gonna live?
Yeah, but then when I realized that these people eat people, I'm like, yeah, they picked the biggest dude to get eaten.
And he was given the most character development up until that point. Like, everybody else hadn't really talked much. Everybody else had been given one line, but Jonah was kind of like Justine's like friend.
Right.
Another thing, dude, that I don't agree with, they already know they're in balls deep. And at this instance, if I saw that fucking 10 people holding my limbs down, I know shit's about to hit the fan. I'm going to try my best to fucking fuck up as many people or get the fuck away.
That's what I kept telling my girl, bro. I was like, okay, they're gonna eat you no matter what. They're gonna have to dart me and do this in my sleep. Because if I'm conscious, bro, these little bowl-cutted motherfuckers are not gonna eat me while I'm fucking alive.
Right.
But then again, dog, like they were so.
But he
I don't
was still
know,
coming
dude.
up off that dart poison shit, remember?
Well, still though, he
Yeah,
was like
still.
3 times the size, bro, of one of those tribes guys.
Yeah.
They weren't big people. They were little Indian folk.
Yeah, they're just small people, small, scrawny people. I feel like I would have had a fighting chance. Even if they threw a dart at me, they're going to kill me while I'm asleep. But I feel like any of these dudes, because they were, full. Like, you know what I mean? They're average people. Had a better chance of fighting these dudes.
So after Jonah's death scene and Justine makes eye contact with the little village boy, the next cut scene is a bunch of older tribeswomen like just casually having conversations while seasoning Jonah's fucking limbs.
Yeah, like they're
They're
prepping
prepping that
saw
shit,
and
bro.
everything, put a
Yeah.
peppers in them.
They hit
Like
the
they were
salt bay
just
on him.
like they were in any carniceria, bro, just
Yeah.
fucking getting, the cow or the goat meat ready, bro. But
Straight
except
up.
it's just Jonah's fucking leg, arms, whatever the fuck.
It's everything.
And another thing I realized, they're casual about this. Like, it's a normal thing.
Right. They're singing along while they're doing it.
And then they're doing all this with their kids and grandkids
Right.
with them.
And they have like Jonah's head with the fucking apple in it.
yeah,
they
so
have
they
his
pull it
toast-
out the water and stuff.
They have his torso, bro, on like a giant platter, and they take it to like some hut that's smoking, like a giant smoker. So they stick his
Yeah.
body in a fucking smoker.
They slow smoke that thing.
I remember when the group was like, I could smell him cooking.
Yeah, yeah. And then Alejandro tells him that he thinks that the tribe thinks they're their enemy, probably because they're wearing the fucking jumpsuits and
Right.
stuff.
Yeah, and I can see
Which
that.
I don't know, dude. Like that's the argument this movie tries to make is that the tribe wouldn't have done all this shit if they didn't think that they were part of that company.
I feel like it would go either way.
Do you think?
Like,
I feel like it was excessive.
Nah, because didn't we just talk about that priest as soon as he got out in real life, as soon as he got out the airplane, he got shot down by arrows?
He got shot with arrows, but there's some stuff that happens in this movie, bro, where like they wanted them to suffer.
Oh, yeah. It's just...
It was about suffering. It wasn't just like, oh, they went for the kill and ate meat. Like, no. They did some extra shit.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like,
Yeah. Nah, yeah, at that point, yeah, I see.
they were the enemy no matter what.
And so after, Alejandro makes this point, there's a shot of the villagers taking out Jonah's fucking meat and passing the shit around like it's, the body of Christ. And they're all just going ham on this dude's.
Dude, that shit looked good. It looked like
did,
pulled
bro.
pork. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like eating
Y'all
barbecue after
motherfuckers
this.
tripping, bro.
Would you guys ever try human meat?
I would not.
Like, if it was like
No, bro.
no
That's not even
circumstances you'd
something
want
you
to
should
try
be
it.
asking, bro. That's not.
What if you're in some foreign place, bro, and you're around some culture where they eat like the dead?
I
Like
would
people
not put
die
myself-
and they believe in eating their meat.
That is not.
I feel like I wouldn't voluntarily do it. But let's say if I ever get put in a situation like Castaway and
You had to?
I had to, I'd be like, yeah, I'm about to eat some dude.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. This
If I had a bottle of Valentina, bro, I think I'd try just about anything.
Well, I mean, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Hey, put A1 sauce. You could literally put that on a leather boot. It tastes like steak.
If we're stranded on an island, there's an ocean around us, and the ocean has fish. I'll try my luck probably with that first.
Nah, I wouldn't. I'm like, if the dude already died, I'm gonna cook him.
I'm cool on that.
He's dead. He's dead. You don't even
It's
have to eat the main part.
decomposing
Just
meat.
take a toe if you want. Like,
I'm cool.
Nah, all right. So Jonah's meat gets passed around the village, and the village is going in on this dude.
They busting a train on that dude, bro.
dude, he looked good.
On his meat.
And afterwards, the group is kind of still in this wooden pig pen. And one of the girls says her stomach starts to feel weird. She starts to feel sick.
Bro, that scene fucked me up
So she
bad.
goes into the corner, bro, and she just starts
shitting.
shitting like a motherfucker.
And it wasn't like a short thing. It was long.
Bro.
It was watery and it was painful.
She got that malaria.
What I noticed, bro, is when that happened, everybody else in the group stood up. They look away, put their face on the bars. They looked more upset than when Jonah was being fucking
Eating.
dissected, bro, while he was alive. Am I mistaken, or is that right?
No, you're
No,
right.
that's right.
Because they looked terrified at the sight of this bitch shitting.
Because as soon as she's like, I gotta go, they're like, get in the fucking corner, get in
She
the...
started farting. They was like, no, go over there. And boy, that was so messed up.
And that's another thing that I'm like, I don't know, dude. I don't know what the fuck went through their fucking head. I
Not
feel
even
like
that, but what fucked me up with the most was like the next scene. She was cuddling her girl like nothing, bro. She was all up in her arms on that, bro. She just shit on herself. I would not want her near me at all, bro.
You're in the middle of Cannibal Village and you're worried about your girl covered in shit.
Man, I'm cool. Stay over there with that.
I'd still embrace her.
yeah,
I'd hit one time before I got eaten.
especially butt stuff.
A lot of butt stuff.
She know what she got herself into.
Y'all tripping, bro. I think I might tap out of this podcast now.
So after the girl shits, the little village kids are all standing around. They're all making the fucking fart sounds and
They're
giggling
laughing
and
at 'em.
shit. And after this part, Alejandro finally admits to the group that, this was all a BR stunt. Because he tells them, we just got to wait it out. And they're all like, what do you mean wait it out? And he's like, more bulldozers are coming. We didn't stop jack shit.
Right.
And he admits that, that guy and him had worked out some plan to let another company bring their bulldozers, right? They just stopped that one company. And Alejandro got to get the promotion pretty much for his group.
Yeah, for his activist group.
And everybody else is pissed.
Well, kind of, I was like, man, because even Alejandro says, he's like, yeah, they probably purposely blew up the engine so we could all die. So that would have, like, if there was too many red flags, I would have judged a lot of shit by now.
There's too many red flags.
Yeah, and that's where, like you said, he admits that he thinks the government set them up, if anything.
All right, what was the next scene?
So everybody gets pissed off. And at this point, the chick with the redheaded chick with the tattoos, like I said, I don't know this bitch's name.
Yeah, I don't know her name either. She's
She
a track
jumps
runner.
up and she grabs onto the bar. She tries to pull herself through to escape. Dart in the neck. There's a
hit her
fucking
ass
dude in
with
a
a dart.
tree, a sentry just watching him. And by sentry, I mean like a little fucking Indian dude with a bowl cut and a blow dart. That's it.
Yeah, they're good with those blow darts, and they were accurate as shit.
They snipers, boy.
And in the next scene, Justine is falling asleep and she wakes up to the little tribe kid she had made eye contact with playing with her flute necklace. Was there any significance to the necklace?
No.
Because I paid no attention to it before that.
The purpose of the necklace. Oh yeah, there is. So you remember when they were in the restaurant and the dad's like, "Where's your necklace at?" And she's like, "Oh, I just forgot it." He's like, "Well, your mom made that necklace for you out of your grandmother's silver jewelry." So I feel like that dad, what purpose? That's what kind of saved her, was that necklace. But I feel like that was a big part.
And then, so while the kid's playing with her flute necklace, the guy that's painted black walks into the cage. And he takes all the women out of the cage to the old yellow woman.
Oh, that's
Only the females. He takes the females out. And they start to just pull all their pants off.
Yeah.
They pull their underwear off. And now these chicks are just bare ass. But they got their shirts on. And then the old yellow woman with her fucking claw finger goes up to each of these chicks with her claw finger and just
Fingers them.
sticks it up their cooch.
Yeah, they finger each one of them.
I think she was trying to check if they were pure, like, if they were still a virgin.
Yeah, she was trying to check for a hymen.
Right.
And so, of course, the first two females,
Definitely
they're not
were
virgins. They've seen some action. So then she gets to Justine, and it's at this point we find out that Justine is a virgin. I didn't see that coming at all.
Nah, I didn't either.
Raul really didn't see it coming.
I did not. But she held it in. Her face was like, I don't know. This shit was crazy.
But like, what kind of got me off guard was, so she retracts the claw and there's blood on there because she was a virgin. Like, does the Lion King symbol her forehead with her own blood?
She does. I wrote that down. She fucking wipes Justine's fucking vag blood on her forehead. And it's at this point that the chick with the tattoos was there. And while she's getting ushered back into the cage, she sees a boat not too far from the village. Mm-hmm. So the other two females go back into the pig pen enclosure, and Justine is taken to a separate tent.
Right, like a little hut.
I keep calling them tents. Yeah, hut.
And that was something that I'm like, I didn't get. Because the next scene is like, they're dragging her back.
Well, they take her to, they knock her out with powder. They blow powder in that bitch's face before they put her in the hut, I think.
Right.
So she's unconscious getting dragged to the hut. And it's at this point the rest of the group is separate. They're in the pig pen. And the tattoo girl decides she's going to try to dip out of the enclosure again. And the guy, one of the dudes in the cage, I think it's the bearded guy. Bearded guy has this idea to take a phone and he sets it to where it's going to ring after he throws it out of the enclosure into a bush. So the guy that's in the guard that's in the tree hops out of the tree to go find this fucking ringing phone. And that's when the tattoo girl gets out of the cage. Mm-hmm. And she actually makes it.
Yeah, I remember she makes it to the boat.
She makes the run to the boat. And then, it's a cutscene as soon as she lays in the boat. So we don't know what happens after that. So the next scene is, shots of the tribe just kind of doing their normal daily routines. They're not fucking with meat or anything at this point. They're all just cleaning, building shit, fastening stuff, going about their business. And I think this scene might have been trying to humanize the tribes a little bit. But it doesn't work for me. I still remember what she did. They're all just disgusting to me.
I mean, it's normal for them, I guess. But then they brought what's-her-name back, right?
So they bring back Justine with, weird white body painting at this point.
And she doesn't recall nothing what happened to her in the
No, she says she doesn't remember any of it. And but that group looks over, and there's another little girl that's part of the tribe. She's painted white, and she has her legs bound together. So it's at this point that the group realizes, FGM, female genital mutilation. They're going to do that to Justine. They know at this point that's going to happen to Justine. So I mean, I assumed that was going to come up whenever they made a big old thing about it at the start of the movie. Or no, I didn't assume it. I didn't see that coming at all. I didn't think they'd bring it back like that. That was just a nice callback.
Because I would think that for them to even get accepted to be women, you have to be part of the tribe, not a fucking outside villager,
Right.
The next scene is when they were brought.
They're given bowls of food by the tribe. And everybody... I saw this coming a fucking mile away. I assumed it was Jonah, though.
Yeah, I did too.
It was what was it? It was yellow shit. Was it fat?
Nah, it's probably
They said it was pork scraps.
No, that's what they said. That's what Raphael said to convince everybody.
It was that girl who ran to the boat.
Yeah, because remember when her lesbian friend, or I don't know if they were together or not. When she finished, she saw the tattoo in the bottom of her bowl.
So everybody's going to him on these bowls, and the girl who's the anxious one, the one who shit, right?
Yeah.
She's eating this fucking bowl. And when she gets to the bottom, she sees at the very bottom of the bowl is a piece of flesh with a tattoo on it. Of course, belonging to the tattoo girl. And at this point, she looks around the village and she sees all the little village kids with pieces of tattoo girl's skin, fucking specifically the tattoo sections, putting them on each other.
Right.
Like if they're little fucking scratch-on tattoos.
Yep.
Yeah.
And immediately at the prospect of this, I'm assuming the anxious girl was Tattoo Girl's girlfriend because she shatters the bowl on the fucking floor, slits her fucking throat, bleeds out right there in the corner.
Like nothing, bro.
Like a savage, dog. I couldn't do it, but...
Oh, that's another. That was a too smooth of a cut.
That's what I'm saying, bro. But she had that jagged edge.
I don't know if... Nah.
She must have really wanted to die.
And you're in a desperate enough situation, dog, you never know. If you're in, a no-hope fucking thing, you're gonna die in some horrible fucking way. Would you not want to take the easy out?
Nah, I'll be honest. I'm gonna try to take out as many motherfuckers as I can with me.
Bro, I'm gonna eat one of them.
Yeah, as soon as, he comes back and it's about to... I got darted, I'm like, just take a quick chomp.
Fuck yeah.
When he's eating my fucking dick and balls, he's gonna remember me.
I'll probably take the easy way out.
Well, the thing is, there was a little slight hope because you remember Raphael was like, we just have to weigh it out. they're gonna send more bulldozers or whatever, so we just have to wait about 2 days. And that was probably why nobody committed suicide or tried to run, is because
They were holding out hope.
yeah.
But so after this part, right, that's when Junie, aka the stoner, he's got like a sack of butt on him.
Yeah.
And he gets the idea. He's like, all right, man, these guys are going to take her body to eat it any second. So they shove the sack of weed. I'm pretty sure this was like the dumbest part of the movie in terms of like anatomy and shit. Doesn't he just stick a sack of weed down her throat? And they do something else. I didn't pay
The dude
attention.
Daniel pushes it further down with the stick, like
Yeah.
into her stomach. The
Very
bearded guy.
And then right after that, you heard Raphael fat fucking jacking it all like fat.
Yeah, bro, they turn around.
Oh,
and
yeah. They turn around, bro. His name's Alejandro, bro. And Alejandro's just beating off like a motherfucker. And what does he say? He's like, I got to try to calm down.
Yeah, like
He's
pretty
like-
much like you gotta like when your body's under stress, you gotta release it somehow, and that's how
I feel like
he's
that's something
releasing
you
it.
would do, dog.
That's how he's releasing it. Nah, bro, I'm not you.
You'd get down with like that spiritual shit. Like, we
That's
all gotta
definitely
calm
not
down.
doing it.
Well, to be honest, I don't give a shit how fucking stressed I am. If I just saw some chick commit suicide in front of me, I ain't gonna beat it.
That nigga was being his meat, bro.
And
And then the bearded dude gets hella mad and he attacks him while he's jerking off.
And
Like,
the dude was like, it says,
you could still hear-
Nah, but that's what fucks me up was like, I'm watching this with captions on, bro. And as this bald dude is the bearded guy.
they have the fap sound.
No. Listen to this. So as the bearded guy attacks him, the caption says, tugging intensifies. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, bro, because you can hear him still. Like the movie makes the point that while they're wrestling on the floor, you
That
still
he's
hear
beating his
fucking.
meat.
but dude, like, if you see this dude, he was being choked, and I swear I heard "Harder, Daddy."
That's what I'm saying. It looked like he was trying to go harder, bro. When as soon
Yeah,
as
he
he's
looked
swinging
like he
that-
was into that shit. And that's when I knew, like, oh, this Raphael dude, he is not right at all on his head.
Nah, so then the fucking while they're fighting, the guy that's painted all black goes into the cage and he takes, the anxious girl's body away.
He hacks the motherfucker up in there.
He takes a swing at it, but they don't really show it, right?
Nah, he just
He just like takes the hack.
yeah.
And the next scene is the village starting to eat the anxious girl's meat, and they're cooking it and they're smoking it, and you see the smoke going all over the place, and they all start to act pretty goofy.
Right, they start like trying to get near it, trying to like inhale it, or like if they smell that skunk, and so they're like, hell yeah.
And everybody's just acting silly, bro. The guy that's painted black's like staring at some fucking dangly thing,
It was an arm dangling.
and he's just fixated on it. So they're all high at this point. Does that work?
I don't think so.
It wasn't even that big of a sack of bud.
Not in that way. And that was a big body, so.
That was a lot of people, bro. But I don't know, man.
That's what I'm saying. That for me was like the dumbest part of the movie.
Like, because even Raphael was like, well, you guys act like these dudes don't smoke weed out here.
Yeah, like if they don't eat pot, he's like they eat that shit for breakfast.
Yeah, everybody started falling asleep. And then,
And isn't it like the next scene after that, the guy that's standing in the tree that's supposed to be watching him, he just
He like
falls off the
out
fucking
tree,
thing.
yeah, bro.
yeah.
He passes out. And that's the point when the group decides. At this point now, it's bearded guy, Junie, Justine, and Alejandro. So there's only 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So Alejandro's gonna stay in the cage no matter what. But Justine, bearded guy, and Junie decide they're gonna dip. So Justine, the bearded guy, make it out of the cage. And as Junie's trying to climb out, Alejandro sticks that motherfucker in the
With
leg
the
with a
dart.
dart. And he tells him, hey, if they all wake up, I can't be the last dude here. And so Justine and bearded guy, they still dip. They leave him. So the next scene after they dip out is that guy Junie wakes up.
Waking up and with them two
He
dudes
wakes
in
up
his
sitting
face.
outside of the fucking cage, bro, on the floor. And the 2 tribesmen are just staring at him, 2 old guys. And Alejandro starts to give him exposition. He was like, yeah, they dragged you outside there.
They caught you while you were escaping.
Yeah, so.
He said that, he tries to say they darted him.
Yeah, they darted him while he
He's
was
like, they
trying
darted
to
you while
escape.
you're trying to get out. And the dude thinks, he's like, oh, they're still high. Because they're kind of giggling and shit. So he's doing these like goofy ass tricks with his hands and shit right in front of him.
Yeah.
And they're laughing and shit. And out of nowhere, they just kind of both reach for one of his hands and they start pulling it closer to their mouths and start fucking just chomping at
trying
the
to
shit.
get that bite. Yeah,
To me, that was the scariest part of the movie.
Nah.
For me personally.
I kind of saw that coming.
Yeah, I did too.
It's just like such like a, because that's a realistic thing to me. Like all the gory stuff when Jonah's getting hacked up, you're like, man, okay, that seems kind of fake. But then, like, when the guys are actually, like, holding his hands trying to bite at it, like, to me, that felt like something like, holy fuck, dude, that would be so fucking scary.
Yeah,
See,
I see what you mean.
even
Like,
that-
some dudes playfully, dog, just casually as fuck, trying to...
Thinking it's a game and shit.
As soon as he would try to go for a bite, I'm gonna hit a motherfucker in the face. Like, it might not be a strong punch because I just been darted, but at least I know, like, this motherfucker's gonna try to fight back. And realistically, I'm still probably gonna get eaten.
No matter what, bro, you're gonna
Yeah.
get eaten regardless of what happens. They're gonna dart you, bro. They're gonna eat you while you're asleep. You're gonna get fucked up. You're probably gonna wake up in some horrific ass fucking position. But anyway, so these dudes, they finally start actually taking bites out of Junie's arms and shit. And then they drag him into the center of the village. Now the entire village comes, and they all just pretty much like zombies just start tearing parts of this
Yeah.
dude's body off. There's a whole dog pile of motherfuckers just eating his flesh. And one of the last shots of this is a little girl runs out from the pile holding this fucking dude's leg.
Yup.
Brutal.
Yeah.
So like I said, man, no matter what, you are going to get wrecked in this movie. So the next shot is Justine and the bearded guy finding the plane wreckage. They start to find pieces of the plane. And for some dumbass reason, Justine falls in the river.
Well,
Yeah.
the dude jumped to get across.
And he lands in the river fine.
Yeah, and then her dumb ass jumps and goes straight in. And I was like, pfft. Bro, I cracked up when I saw that scene.
Yeah, I did too. I'm like, I'd be honest, that was a scene that was no need for that.
Yeah, that was definitely... I thought it was going to lead to something because it looked like she went even further from the plane, right?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
like went hella far down.
So he goes, he rescues her with a stick. All right, you just killed about like 20 minutes. Good job. Now they walk back to the plane. So literally, like you said, it served no purpose, I feel. So when they get back to the actual plane wreckage, there's fucking pikes set up in the floor. And all of their friends that died at the plane site have been impaled on these fucking sticks.
Like some type of ritual.
Yeah.
With like torches and shit all around them and stuff. And they find the GPS also, and the GPS is dead.
But then they hear a phone.
Yeah,
The
they hear
phone
a
rings in one of the bodies. I thought
Yeah.
that was kind of tight. Like, oh, now we got to dig through these motherfuckers' pockets on the pikes to find the fucking phone.
Yup.
So Justine climbs on bearded guy's fucking shoulders. As she gets the fucking phone, the tribespeople show up. And as soon as they see the tribespeople, they already got those fucking darts up. Darts to both of them. And Justine wakes up on the next scene, bound, tied up, and she's naked, getting like some type of oil rubbed all over her, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And while this is happening, the bearded guy, he's tied up to a pike. He's not impaled, but he's like tied up to where he can't move his arms and legs. And is that the part where the guy that's painted all in black goes up to him?
He
Yeah.
starts like breaking every bone. All
He's
the
got like
bones.
some type of blunt and some heavy ass blunt thing, and he just starts breaking all this dude's fucking bones. Mm-hmm. And then after this, we see horrible CGI ants.
Yeah, that was
they like start smearing some shit on him that like attracts.
Oh
the
yeah, he
ants,
smears like mud or some type of shit that attracts those ants.
and then they start attacking him. But they start painting that girl white too, like at the same time.
While that's all happening, Justine is being painted white and getting prepped for this ceremony she's
Yeah.
going to be a part of. Do you guys know what type of ants those were? Were they bullet ants? I
They're
just assumed
huge.
bullet.
I think I don't know, bro, because they were black. They weren't
I mean,
fire ants.
those bull ants are native to the Amazon, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they were trying to go for.
Those are the only type of ants I know. It's fire ants and bullet ants. And they didn't look red, so... Some
was-
big-ass ants fucked the bearded guy all up.
Right.
Like more fucked up that he was already at. But
So then after this happens, Justine gets approached by the yellow woman with her fucking... She has a tool. She's not using her claw. She has an actual like little like hook.
blade thing.
And it looks like the one that she saw in the documentary. It looked like a smaller one, but nonetheless, it's still a tool specifically for female genital mutilation. And as she's approaching, the lady stops all of a sudden because she hears something.
Mm-hmm.
And so she goes outside, and in the distance, you see one of the tribesmen running towards the village. He's holding a head, right?
Yeah.
From one of the construction.
From one of the
workers.
construction
Yeah.
workers with his little blue helmet. And so at this point, like you said, the old woman, the yellow woman is like the leader of this group because she says something, and all the fucking tribes guys go and they start grabbing spears and shit, getting ready for some type of battle. And they all dip out.
They get them things.
And at this point, Justine is left with some really chubby chick in a hut.
Right.
She was thick. There's another thing that you would think like Amazon tribes like that. All the women would still have their titties covered. You ever notice that? I mean, we already saw tits and balls at this point, but in real life, they don't even cover up.
Right. They're just in like skirts or something like that.
But yeah, she was thick. You could tell that bitch ate well compared
Very
to the
well.
rest of the village. Like,
And she's got a piercing in her nose, which becomes important in 2 seconds.
It's like that bone.
yeah,
So Justine, so while this big lady, she's distracted, she's got her back to Justine, who's tied up on the floor. And then the little village boy that Justine has befriended throughout this movie comes up and unties her noose real quick. Some real slick shit. So Justine, her hands are free, and then the big lady's about to turn around, and she puts her hands back over her head, like if she's still faking that she's tied up. And as the lady gets closer, I think she has the powder. She's about to knock
Yes.
Justine out with the powder.
Powder shot.
But before she blows it, fucking Justine, dog, fucking spits
that
it back
shit,
in her
yeah.
face first. The lady's dazed, and Justine reaches up and tears that fucking bone right out of that bitch's face.
Yup.
And then she kicks her right in the gut.
And like
Bam,
knocks her out.
freedom.
yeah.
That was fucking hard.
And
But that's
then-
more or less what I would do, bro.
Yeah.
I just start tearing out all the motherfuckers' piercings.
I mean, right, because that big girl had her back turned and she was already kind of freed. I would have just like stuck something in her head, killed her instantly. 'Cause fuck that. And then the next scene is when
She approaches the dude that's tied
Yeah.
up. She approaches the bearded guy who's
Trying to save him.
so what happened to him? Like, was his face all boiled up and shit?
yeah, it was
It
swollen
was like
because of the
swole,
hands.
Yup.
He was all swollen from the bug bites. His entire body's broken. I don't know if she knows that his whole body's broken.
Nah, but this
Because
dude,
she's walking up to him and she's thinking she's going to untie him. And he's going, fuck that, kill me.
yeah, the whole entire time he's just kill me, just kill me.
And she's trying to figure out how to get him down. So while she's doing that, the little village boy that helped her escape just walks up to him,
Blows it.
blows powder in his face, knocks him out,
Slits
slits
his
his
throat.
fucking throat.
You saw how casual that was for him? though?
Yeah.
Like, that was nothing.
That was G as fuck,
Like you could tell that dude has at least 4 or 5 bodies underneath his belt.
at least. Now, Justine has no ties to this village, except for Alejandro, who she makes eye contact with as she's passing the pigpen enclosure. And she makes a very conscious choice right there to ignore the fuck out of him and just dip. So she
Yeah.
abandons him in the pigpen.
And he's going like ape shit nuts. Like, don't you fucking leave me?
Yeah, screaming her name and stuff.
Like, how could he be shocked at that point?
Because he knows that he's about to get killed if he's the only one there. He's about to be food.
So as she's running from the village, we see that she's being pursued by a little girl and another tribesman.
Well, it's another dude. That was another little boy.
It was a girl, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little girl, bro.
You
was
thought
a
that the
little
first
girl.
person was a girl
Nah,
too?
this one was a little.
The second
girl.
one's for sure a little girl because she had long ass hair.
Yeah, but he
she
didn't
was
have a
covered up.
No, he
She had the
wasn't.
things just across his chest.
No, because because you remember when she talked to I feel like she straight told the other little kid, "You fucked up."
But she
Well,
had the
yeah,
things
because
across
while
her
they're
chest.
chasing him, so all right, so there's another village kid and a tribesman chasing Justine and the little boy she's with. And they get to a certain point away from the village, and the little boy stops and gives her back her necklace, correct?
Right.
So she gets the necklace from the little boy, and she keeps running. And this is the point you're talking about, where the other kid and the tribesman catch up to the little boy, and she looks at him, and she just mumbles something at him, like, "You fucked up, bro."
It sounded like a boy. That's why I'm going based off that.
I think all the men just had that mushroom cut, and all the girls had the long hair.
Yeah, because the little boy had the mushroom cut.
Yeah.
But the girl didn't. That's why I'm pretty confident it was a girl. But anyways, so this is where I come to where we talk about CGI in this movie. Because as Justine's making her escape, she has to jump into a river. And on the other side of this river is a fucking jaguar.
It's that black jaguar from the beginning of the movie.
Correct. And now this one looked fake as fuck to me. The other one wasn't so bad because they're barely showing it. But this one you can tell they shot it really, they'd only show it for a second. The camera would move real quick. Like, it felt like it really wasn't there to me.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I feel like
bro.
it was kind of real.
Yeah, it looked real to me. I was watching the movie pretty hard, bro. At that point.
I must have a nice TV, high definition, because that shit look real.
So for you guys, you felt like it was really there.
Yeah.
Ah.
I feel like the reason why they split the scene like that when you're saying going back and forth, because I'm pretty sure they filmed that leopard before they put her near it. But we should probably look that up and see if that bitch was real or not.
Yeah. So she has to. Comes to the part of where the guy was saying either the jaguar is a protector of the jungle or a carrier to hell. because Justine has to walk right in front of it, and the Jaguar has to kind of make this choice: am I gonna jack this bitch out of the water or just ignore her? And it ignores her.
Right.
All right.
So she makes it. She passes the test.
You saw where that little kid had the dart ready,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but you saw that it was had another stick coming off of it, and it looked like a scope almost. And I'm like, damn, that's
I didn't even notice that.
I did it. I was like, damn, that motherfuckers has that's used for fucking sniping motherfuckers down.
So do you think whenever she got the clear from the Jaguar, the village people were kind of like, all right, she's probably cool? Or do you think they just didn't want to piss off the Jaguar?
I feel like they took that as a sign, like, yeah, she cool.
Because the little kid and the tribes dude that were following her, they stopped when they saw her get close to the Jaguar, and they kind of just said, fuck it, after she walked past the Jaguar.
Right. I kind of feel like they took that as a sign, like, yeah.
I kind of don't, because I feel like that bitch is gonna die. Even if he darts her, they need to retrieve that body from that Jaguar. So,
I also felt like they were also like, fuck it, the Jaguar is going to get her.
yeah.
She ain't going to survive on her own out here.
That's probably what they thought, yeah. But so after the Jaguar scene, Justine walks into the middle of a battle between the tribesmen and the local militia. And the tribesmen are getting fucked up, right? They're just getting blasted, bro. Their little darts ain't shit against fucking ARs and shit.
Like, there was a scene when these dudes are about to, like, throw arrows or spears and shit. And then they just got wiped out. Like,
and the way it was shot, supposedly what I read up afterwards, is supposed to show, like, we're supposed to feel sympathy. Like, it's supposed to be like, look how brutal these guys are acting towards these, you know, Indian folk. I didn't feel that at all, bro. I smiled like a motherfucker every time I saw one of those little bowl cuts fucking falling into the grass, bro.
Like, I was telling him, like, I was, like, expecting the whole ending to be different. Like, I was like, all right, cool. When I was watching them, like, seeing from just who her dad was, I was like, all right, she's going to get a cell phone. She's going to get a hold of her dad. Her dad's going to send a team and come chop everybody down in this village, bro, and he's going to get his daughter back. That's exactly how I thought the movie was going to end, bro. Like, everybody's better get gunned the fuck down.
I can see the sympathy part.
I did not feel no sympathy.
No, I didn't feel sympathy. Trust me. I didn't feel that, but I can see what you mean.
That's how they wanted it to look. Like, that's what the director's implication was for that scene.
And the reason why is because this is a regular thing for them.
Right.
They thought these dudes were enemies, and because they're so secluded from the rest of the world, they think the rest of the world is a whole different tribe.
Like, the argument is supposed to be like, hey, we're not supposed to be there. We're there. That's why all this is happening. Which I kind of see. But like I said, I feel like the tribesmen fucking sprinkled on some extra shit that made it kind of a little extra.
Well, they killed that other dude.
Bro, look how they strung the guy up with the fucking ants and they broke his bones. Right. Why the fuck is that seasoning? He didn't need to die like that.
Well, I think it was punishment for trying to run away.
That too.
Okay, I can see that. So Justine walks into the middle of this fight. And she runs into the same guy that had a gun at her head before.
Yeah.
And she still happens to have the cell phone that she pulled off the body from the plane crash. So she gets the idea fucking instantaneously. As soon as guns get pointed at her, she pulls out the fucking phone and she's like, camera,
yeah,
American.
She's like, remember me, asshole? Because it was the same dude that had her at gunpoint at the beginning of the movie.
And so once the guy takes notice of her, she chucks the fucking phone at the floor. You think that's supposed to symbolize, like, fuck this shit, I'm cool, let's go. Like, I'm not really trying to fuck with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what she was trying to do.
Like trying to be safe and get the fuck out.
She was bluffing.
Because, like, once she had his attention, she threw the phone at the floor, so I'm assuming that was her saying, like, hey, I don't really care about any of this, let's just go.
Well, remember, they were going to blast at her, too. I think that's what saved her. Because reality, if I was one of those militia dudes and I was just like shooting down those fucking ball head cuts and she came out painted all in white like she did, I'm gonna pull rounds in that bitch.
Especially if she's painted white. Like, there's something extra.
She stands out.
Oh, and she also, before she ran into the militia guy, she ran into the guy that was painted black. He had fucking bullet holes all over him, right? So he was gonna die.
He had tried to say something to her or something like that. Or he said something to her.
And she said, I can't remember what he said.
I'd have took a shit right on his chest.
I don't know. I thought that dude was gonna be like try to take at least one more whack at her before she left.
But no, so after the whole thing with the phone and the militia group, they usher her to a helicopter, right?
Yeah.
And the pilot asks her, he says, "Hey, is there anybody else alive out there?"
And he says, nope.
Nope. It was only me.
I would have said the same thing, dude.
So she gets on the helicopter, and as the helicopter is leaving the jungle, Alejandro sees the fucking chopper dipping, and he starts flipping the fuck out even more in that cage.
Yeah, I remember.
As he's freaking out, he gets fucking darted in the neck. Boom, he's blacked out. And so one of the last scenes of the movie is now Justine is talking to her dad, correct?
He's like talking to her dad and like
some
two
lawyers.
detectives or something like that.
And lawyers or UN guys, some professional looking dudes. And she asks him, or he asks her, so were the tribes people hostile to you at all? You know, did you feel threatened? You know, what happened? And Justine tells him that the plane crashed and everybody died in the crash and the tribe took care of her and that they were all very friendly people.
I feel like if she would have said anything else, they would have came down on her, and it would have came down on that fucking tribe and killed everybody. So
you think she was trying to like do her activism part by saying that? Or?
yeah,
Do you think she was legit trying to protect the tribe, or do you think she just wanted to make sure that Alejandro died and didn't get rescued?
I feel like both, because those were UN. I guarantee they were, because the dad's a lawyer for the UN. I'm pretty sure that's detectives. I feel like because you already fucking took Americans as hostage, that's already active war. Well, it should be, but nowadays, like, there's so many fucking people in prison fucking camps and shit, and the government don't give two flying fucks. But if it was like a celebrity or something, they'll fucking send half the military out. But that's another topic.
So after this, basically her dad tells her, like, well, you just saved this village because now the bulldozing is going to stop, all that shit. And so the next scene is Justine walking in a hallway, and Alejandro runs up behind her and touches her shoulder. And he's like, hey, I made it.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
And then fucking, like, razor sharp teeth appear in Justine's mouth, and she takes a bite out of him. And bam, it was a dream.
Yeah, it was a
Didn't
nightmare.
happen. And
She
she's
wakes
woken
up
up
in
in her
bed.
dorm room, and she's woken up by another protest group. I'm assuming it's like an affiliate of that first one, of ACT, and they're all wearing T-shirts with Alejandro's face on it, right?
All right.
That's what I didn't understand. Like, they're saying free him, like if he was locked up or something like that.
Well, that was. I don't understand. I don't know if he got rescued or they think he's still alive or.
I think they just tried to turn him into a martyr, kind of like is that guy Che Guevara, whatever. Because even
okay.
that's what the design of the shirt looked like.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I kind of
Like if he died for his cause, that's what martyrs do. So they tried to turn him into a martyr.
Another thing is, I didn't understand that fucking dream. What I thought was gonna happen, because I didn't see that shit coming with her taking the chomp. What I thought was gonna happen was, I thought the whole thing was gonna be a dream. Like it was gonna be like some Final Destination shit.
Right.
No, I think that symbolized that, like how I said, how her biggest fear wasn't the tribe. It was that dude was going to come back. Like she legit hated that dude that much that her biggest concern was that Alejandro was going to somehow weasel his way out of that fucking village. Which is what I think that's what the nightmare was supposed to show.
I don't know. I just know that in reality she did all this for some dick in the beginning. And look what happened.
No, I see your point, bro. I think I lean more towards that she was afraid of him coming back and spilling the beans of what really happened.
Well, even then, it won't happen because this dude won't snitch on his own self because he kind of sent all these motherfuckers to die.
Right.
No, but so she wakes up, sees the other protest group, and then the credits start to roll. And you guys saw the post-credit scene, right?
No, I didn't watch that.
There was a post-credit scene, which wasn't even post-credit because it was like 30 seconds into the credits. The screen starts to cut, and then you hear a phone ringing, and Justine answers it, and it's Alejandro's sister. And as she's talking to her, like, hey, I need to talk to you, there's like a visual of a map, like a satellite image that's on the planet, and it's closer and closer and closer. And she's like, I need to talk to you about my brother. And the very last shot is the fucking image goes in so far into the jungle, and then you just see, like, Alejandro staring up from the fucking jungle. And he looks like he's naked, wearing like a tribe's outfit.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang. So he ended up becoming like a part of the tribe.
Well, here's the thing, right? You guys didn't see it, so you don't know. But I can't figure out if that's supposed to be him being a part of the tribe or if one of the tribesmen cut his fucking face off and he's wearing it.
I gotta see it.
I'm about to pull it up.
That didn't look like him.
You see what I'm saying? Does he think it looks like someone cut his face off?
Yeah, it looked like somebody cut his face off. Because it looked like, because the rest of his body looks like it's painted black, like that black head wore. And I thought this motherfucker.
Oh, maybe he did that. Whoa, that'd be some shit.
Well, what do you mean?
I didn't even think about that because the guy that was painted black died. So what if he took that guy's spot?
You would think like,
Whoa, I didn't even connect to that possibility.
Like his face was the only thing that wasn't painted.
Yeah, because like I said, it looks like unnatural, right? Like
Right.
it looks like if his body's a different tone than his face, which is why I assumed maybe one of the tribes dudes cut his fucking face off and was wearing it. But then again, we know the guy that's painted black died, so
I mean, do we know he died? We know he was.
we saw him
fucking
get
shot.
lit up, bro. In the middle of the jungle, they're probably not surviving that.
Yeah.
Well, look at 50 Cent. That nigga survived.
Yeah, but they took him to a hospital.
Yeah, but
This is an Amazon.
And that guy, let's face it, man, he wasn't 50 Cent buff, okay?
like Browns got to go through this.
50 Cent's pretty fucking jacked, dude. So, but yeah, that's how the movie ends.
No, I didn't know that. I just, as soon as the credit hit, I'm like, oh, we're done. Nah, that would have been an extra thing. I would have thought I wish I saw that. But my point of theory is, man, I could see that shit. What you're talking about? They probably ripped his face off, but his face doesn't look like fucking
It don't look like it was ripped.
like Texas
it's on
Chainsaw
top,
Massacre
yeah.
face. You know what I'm
It
talking
looks
about?
like
It's actually clean and
Yeah.
put on correctly.
So I can see where he's like took
And the
over
body
for
does
warrior.
fit him because one of the tribes dudes all got like little man bodies.
Right.
Yeah.
He's kind of like
He's kind of stocky.
stockier. Yeah.
And the hairstyle, notice the hairstyle is his hairstyle. It's not like,
He got that long hair, yo.
yeah.
The other dude was bald, I think.
Who knows, man? But all right, guys, that was the Green Inferno. So what did you guys think?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm neutral. It's a good movie. I recommend seeing it, but there's a lot of, like I said, it made me question a lot of stuff I would have done different. And like certain situations, maybe because how I was raised, or warning signs, I would have been like, nah, I'm not fucking going.
I get that.
That would have been the end of my movie. Like, I'll stay, go to class. But nah.
Shit, I don't know, bro. Like I said, I would recommend it to people because, like I said, once you get to the climax, you kind of stay locked onto the screen, bro. I
Yeah.
fuck with it.
So,
But I like that suspense and like thriller and stuff.
You know, I was talking earlier about this movie is considered, like torture porn.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, maybe other people, I call this kind of movie shock horror.
Shock horror.
Shock horror, like it's specifically meant to like just shock people, for the sake of shocking people.
I feel like I'm neutral about it, and maybe you guys feel the same way. But this is meant to scare Americans that never even left the state. Like Josh, he's only gone to 2 other states, I think. Never left the country. But at the same
see
time,
that.
we're raised in the hood.
Yeah.
So we're aware of our surroundings. We're aware of warning signs compared to these privileged people that...
Like we've seen fucked up things.
Yeah.
We know people that have experienced fucked up things. These people, they didn't.
Nah.
This was all completely foreign to them.
So it's warning signs. And even then, like my experience, I could tell there was a difference between... Because I went with a group of like 20 of us to Africa. I could tell I was acting different and 2 others were acting different. And then when I talked to them, they're like, oh, yeah, I'm from Louisiana. I was born and raised around this hood, and then I got out of it. And I'm like, oh, well, no wonder this guy's acting like me. He's raised in the same way I was. But there was at a little, when we went through a little city, and we went through like a little city market, and I was aware of my fucking surroundings. Fuck that. There was times where a dude would like brush my shoulder, and I would check my pockets real quick because I already know like this motherfucker tried to steal my wallet or something. And these white, I might say straight up, they're white people because there was only like 3 colored people with us. They were like welcoming them, like being touched in their bag, and I'm not like used to that shit.
Yeah, I know
I
what
got
you
a
mean,
bubble.
bro.
Don't get in
Yeah.
my shit. But that's why I feel like these white privileged college students, because the reason I say college students because they were all on the campus. I feel like they fucked up. They should have had at least one hood dude.
Yeah, right.
I feel like that would have been okay.
One dude to help him out.
So that's why I feel neutral. I'm like, I would have done shit differently.
They were all just privileged college.
It's a good movie.
Kids, yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I like the gore.
What did you guys think of the message? Did you guys register what I was saying, that I think towards the end the director tried to flip it to be like, we're supposed to feel bad for the tribe?
I do feel like they did put that kind of message out there, but I didn't feel bad for the tribe.
Nah.
But I do feel like they put the message out there like this is really happening in the Amazon.
And the thing
these
is,
tribes are getting fucked up. But I didn't feel bad because the tribes kind of brought it upon themselves for doing all that shit.
I mean, but even that, like, did they really bring it upon themselves? Because them dudes were there with the forest shooting at him in the first place. So, I mean, justifiably, the tribe was mad. But it's just the way they shot the movie. It makes it really hard for you to feel bad for these motherfuckers.
I didn't feel bad. Fuck that.
That's what I'm saying, dude. They did some grimy shit.
But they're doing it all out of anger.
But
because they're losing their home.
The thing is, it's normal to them. It's a normal fucking thing. And I feel like all that, literally what I was telling you guys about the Aztecs, happened with us. Spaniards came, befriended everybody, and they started wiping everybody out. And the thing is, the Aztecs said the same shit. They used to sacrifice bodies, cut their heads off and everything to their gods.
They used to sacrifice millions of motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah.
It was only, it was never their own people. It was always prisoners of war. Or other people.
I couldn't say for sure.
Other tribes.
I wasn't there.
Other tribes. But this is from shit that I've been reading, bro.
So they never sacrificed.
It was
Aztecs.
never their own people. It was always people from other tribes.
I always,
and not everybody from Mexico is Aztec either.
Nah. I always presumed that they're volunteered.
Never. It was always people that they captured from other tribes.
Nah, man, that's like a prisoner of war thing.
Pretty much, yeah, like a prisoner of war.
But regardless, I don't feel bad of any of those motherfuckers. Like, especially that chick that got captured and everything, I want to be like, nuke this fucking forest. Like, fucking drop a nuke on these motherfuckers.
Bro.
Right, bro.
I would have been like, save the forest, just go wipe out those people, man. Fuck all that.
Because even if they've done this for hundreds of years, millions of years, like, don't you feel like any remorse that you're torturing the fuck out of these people? And there's some cold-blooded people, but I guess it's how they raise.
Because they didn't just eat them. That's what it comes back to. They did extra shit to a couple of them.
Yeah.
They tortured
It'd be one thing, bro, if they did like the humane hunter thing, which is, here Native Americans, isn't there that stereotype that when they kill a deer, they all like say a prayer with the fucking body and shit. Thank you for what you're about to give me, blah, blah, blah. You respect it. You treasure it. Them niggas didn't do that. At least from what I saw.
Straight.
Man, if I had some like barbecue sauce, that shit look like pulled pork, bro. Like, that shit look fire.
Hella.
You're probably never gonna eat barbecue. Nothing. Dude, I got hungry watching that shit.
I was eating while I was watching it, bro.
Man, I
was eating breakfast.
I straight thought like, dude, they made that shit look good. You know how when they put a whole entire pig in an oven or something? That's what I pictured.
Burrito, bro. A chorizo burrito with eggs. I made it in coffee, and I was eating that shit while I was watching the movie.
Something I think about when I watch these kind of movies, right, is that would you guys be comfortable watching this with like other people that you don't know that well? Like you putting it on, like, hey, we could watch this.
If I didn't know them,
or would you feel like they might think you're a serial killer?
They gotta think I'm a serial killer. Because the thing is, the way I already act and everything, my own family like, nah, this motherfucker has a black heart and shit.
Yeah, but that's just in the sense that everyone knows that.
Like if your mom comes over, bro, are you gonna put this on for her?
No, definitely not. My mom's super Catholic, bro.
Like Thanksgiving's coming up, guys. Are you gonna put this on while your family's together?
For my sister and my brother-in-law, they will probably fuck with it because they actually told me about another. My brother-in-law told me about another one called Tomahawk Ridge or something like that, or Tomahawk something, which kind of falls along the same sense, but it's like these people live in caves, and it has to do with the old Western cowboys and people that live in caves, but they're the same cannibalistic people, and they take and torture all these motherfuckers. But I know my brother-in-law and my sister would watch it, but my parents, fuck no, they're super Catholic, bro. They couldn't even watch Narcos, Mexico.
Yeah, that's a lie. That's not like made up. That shit happens
without watching that, without getting feeling bad and shit.
I mean, within my friends and family, they already know what fucked up shit I'm into. So, But if it was if somebody random or my boss or coworker, I want to be able to do that shit. They're already freaking out the way I talk.
Nah,
So,
my coworkers, yeah, because we put this type of shit on at the shop all the time. Like I couldn't, like none of my clients probably not. Maybe there's a select few.
yeah.
Actually, I had asked quite a few clients on yesterday, if they had ever seen this movie. Most of them said that they had seen it.
Well, yeah, because this has been on like HBO and shit now. But I saw this before it was even when it was still like a fucking circuit movie for like those little film festivals and shit.
Yeah.
The reason I didn't say how I was introduced to this movie, I read an article that when they were premiering this, they were handing out vomit bags.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get that vibe at all.
Yeah, I didn't get that shit.
Well, because it's supposed to be, like I said, it's a shock film. Some people have sensitive stomachs and haven't seen shit like this. I.e., like your parents or something.
Nah, my mom would just be like, "That's son cosas del diablo," that's the devil shit. Quit, take that off.
Nah. My mom would be like, what are we watching? Put something different.
Yeah, she'd probably be like that too.
Like I get a pass from my family because people know that like I'm into like weird movies and horror and shit. So I deep dive into a lot of stuff. So I kind of get a pass. People are always like, "What type of weird shit are you watching?"
Well, see, that's the complete opposite for me, bro. My parents know I'm not into this type of stuff like that, and well, they don't know that I watch it. I like this type of stuff, but they don't know that I watch it. So for me to play something on like that, they'd be like, "What the fuck is your problem, dude?"
Well, no, that's a lot of people, man. There's definitely. I feel like before, like I said, it's been on HBO now. I think that's why it's a mainstream thing. But before that, yeah, it was definitely more of an underground movie. I feel.
The bad thing is, I don't know. I've seen some gory fucking films that my son will walk in, and I feel like he was into that shit too. So I don't.
Yeah, my son was pretty locked eyes onto this motherfucker until I told him to go watch his tablet.
Yeah, I had to tell my son to leave the room.
My daughter, like I said, I've seen some weird stuff. So every now and then she's seen things, and I try to explain it to her, like, all right, you're not. I'm not excited because I'm watching somebody die or something really nasty happening. I think it's like art, like the way that's shot. It's a movie. Those are actors. That's a guy getting paid to pretend to do this. And there's some guy that's painting him. There's some guy making little effects and stuff. Like, I'm explaining it to her from that aspect because that's how I really watch these movies. Like, I'm not excited to see somebody die and get fucked up.
The attention to detail. And
yeah,
shit.
I'm like, man, how the fuck did they make that look real?
I'm getting excited because I'm seeing somebody get fucked up, bro. That's like 100% honesty.
Me too.
Like, especially if I'm seeing somebody get choked out, that's like the more excitement for me, bro.
Now we know what type of porn you watch.
Yes, like straight up.
Donkey punches and everything.
Yeah.
The only thing that
I get a thrill off of it.
the only major thing I would have done different, even like if I gone to the point where I already got captured and everything, fight back. Nobody in that film fought back or tried to do anything.
Oh no, man, they were all like rich prep kids. Like they weren't about it.
Like they all knew that they were about to get. Yeah, they all pretty knew. They all knew that they were not about that life, so they weren't
Like
even.
you know how they got handed the bulls, and I would have took a piece of that fucking clay bull, and I'm gonna start shanking a motherfucker.
You could have stabbed a couple of them up when they came into that cage, or cut them good at least.
Yeah, but nah, they prefer to get fucking killed or suicide, and I'm like, nah, I'm cool.
It's like that commercial. Have y'all seen that commercial where they're like running? It's like supposed to be a parody of the Texas Chainsaw, but it's a car insurance commercial.
And they're hiding in the.
They're like, no, there's a running car, and then there's like a thing of
there's
hanging
a shed
chainsaws.
with like chainsaws.
Yeah, they're like, no, run into the shed with the chainsaws. Like that's what.
Hey, you see the dude behind him, like, really?
Yeah.
Really, bitch? That's what you picked?
Well, no, like I think I said it at the beginning. My thoughts on this, like I really liked the practical effects and how real most of it looked, but the thing that I didn't like was paper thin characters, bro. I didn't even give a fuck to learn any of their names.
Nah,
I don't even think they said some of their names. They say it one time in the whole movie.
Nah, I didn't.
It's kind of like the whole point was for them to get killed off.
This is the book definition of torture porn.
Like, they
because
don't really, like-
there's nothing happening.
Cool. This is them, and they about to get killed off. This is how they get killed.
And I'm about to flex on you what I'm about to do to these actors.
Right.
There was no real story. The girl, nobody changed, nobody grew.
No, not really. And you're right, I didn't even care for learning their names. It's just like, let's get this shit going and start hacking bodies.
Pretty much. And like I said, that'd probably be my biggest knock against this. But, so now I'm getting to a point now where I've created a rating scale for movies. I rate movies on a scale from 1 to 6. And after I say 6, I say inches.
All right, so it's 1 to 6. So you're rating it, and
In
after that, what?
inches.
Oh, in interest.
So how many inches would you give the movie?
Inches?
Yeah.
So 6 is the biggest you could go at.
You know, big throbbing 6.
Okay.
I'll give that motherfucker like a 3.
You give it a 3?
I'll give it like a 2.5 because it's not. I was neutral about it, but there's a lot of stuff I criticized on.
I feel like I rate all the fucking movies like 3 because I don't feel strongly about it, but I respect it. I don't hate it, but I liked what it did. I like the effects.
Like it got the job done.
Yeah, so I feel like 3 is
You didn't
appropriate.
feel much,
for
but
this,
it got
bro.
the job done.
Like if it wasn't for the effects, bro, and if like this was like a cheesy standard movie where like they did cutaway like hits and the effects look real CGI, this is a 1.
Right.
A solid 1, but the effects in and of itself pull it up to a 3 for me.
So it's not always about the size, bro. It's about the motion in the ocean.
Do you guys know why I do 1 to 6 inches?
Nah.
Because I googled the length of the average taco.
This guy.
You sick fucks.
Way to drop that on us. Made it sound like a bunch of...
Raul just started doing dick euphemisms right away.
I thought you were basing off dick, and I was like, all right, because you're like a heart-throbbing 6.
Yeah. Sound like cool, bro. Shit.
But all right, boys. So we've been doing this for about 2.5 hours. So this is coming to an end now, and I just want to thank Raul for being here. I want to thank Jesus for being here, and for anybody out there listening. You know, I'm getting the Facebook page up. Haven't really done a lot with it yet. I want to get more content out before I start pushing really heavy. But thank you for listening. This is the Death Taco Podcast.
Creepy, surreal. Someone better get the door. Someone better get the door. Who's gonna get the door?
Psycho killer.